A man restarted the instance 99 times just to see the end of the game. However, after the man cleared 20 rounds of the game, what awaited him was on-the-spot annihilation. After restarting the instance 99 times, the man finally set foot on the 20th round. What came into view was a dense army of puppets guarding a mysterious entrance behind them. These monsters obviously wouldn't let the man pass easily. As the puppet army slowly opened its eyes, the next second, a series of sharp slashes swept towards the man in an instant. But having experienced 99 restarts of battle, the man's reactions were already incredibly fast. Just as the slashes fell, the man directly applied the seal of death. The crimson skull instantly emitted a dazzling light. Enemies marked with the seal of death would take an additional 100 damage from the next attack. Facing the swarming puppet army, he directly swung his scythe and unleashed Night of Death. Night of Death was accompanied by endless darkness, directly blinding them, and followed by a series of powerful slashes. Their speed was very fast, mixed with a dual assault of ice and fire. They continuously launched attacks at the man. The man, in turn, actively boosted his speed. The puppet army's attacks were now clearly less likely to hit. The next second, a huge magic circle flashed beneath his feet. The man couldn't escape the magic circle's seal. A towering pillar of ice instantly froze the man. However, the man didn't panic. He directly swung his crimson scythe and unleashed a moonlight slash. The pillar of ice was instantly cut in half, and it directly knocked down the puppet army within range. At this moment, the man was calculating. With this endless cycle of attacks and counterattacks, he would sooner or later be worn down and die here. Then let's end this once and for all. At the same time, a crimson sword aura swept towards the puppet army. Accompanied by a terrifying collision of energy, puppets fell one after another. He had finally cleared the puppet army of the 20th floor. The man finally stepped into the mysterious entrance. At this moment, the man looked at the temple-like structure. He stood directly in a magic circle in front of the door. At the same time, a system prompt appeared. The condition for entering the boss room is 5 players. Player detected to not meet the instance requirements. The player will be annihilated by the system in 5 seconds. Just as the man was feeling confused, a golden light instantly enveloped him. Then, the system began a countdown. At this moment, the man was furious, frantically slashing at the golden light. What shameless game rules? Am I going to be stopped here again? The countdown had now reached 0. The man gradually faded away in the magic circle. Then, a system prompt appeared. Rune of Time Reversal. The player is about to return to the initial round. Rune of Time Reversal has 100 uses. The rune has been used up. It will now be destroyed. The player's 100th regression has begun. The scene changes. The man returned to this damned starting point. A dense crowd of people was waiting for the New Year's bells to ring. So many people were gathered here, waiting to celebrate the new year. At this moment, the man was furious to the extreme. The 20 rounds he had fought through with great difficulty. If he could, the man wanted to stop this damn time. Anyway, this is the last regression. If he wants to see the end of the game, then besides passing the 20 rounds, he also needs to bring 4 teammates to the final round. Then, the man scanned the crowded out people, searching for suitable team members among them. At the same time, a hollow voice came from the sky. Humans are truly interesting, still celebrating the arrival of the new year when death is imminent. The crowd was clearly very confused by the voice. The next second, the figure of an angel appeared in the sky. The crowd thought it was a TV show. Only the man knew. Seeing the angel appear once again meant that disaster was about to strike. Although he had met it 99 times, he still felt very displeased. Then, the angel slowly spoke. "You monkeys in a cage. It seems you are all deceived by my appearance. Seeing your very confused expressions, it's clear you can all hear my voice." At this moment, someone raised a question. The angel, who had been gentle, changed its expression the next second. Then, that person collapsed directly to the ground. Everyone was stunned by this sudden scene. "You noisy monkeys, who allowed you to communicate with this angel using such lowly words? You are not worthy of questioning me. By the way, I advise you to give up that useless resistance. From now on, you will all submit to me. Well then, let's have a gaming carnival. A game will be held on the 1st of every month for a total of 20 rounds. Your souls will be transported to a new dimension to participate in the game. The only thing you ants have to do is complete the given tasks. Those who survive to the end will receive rewards and also return to reality. However, not all of you who complete the tasks will return to reality alive. Only half of the people who complete the tasks will go back alive. Only people between the ages of 15 and 29 worldwide will participate. Oh, that's quite a lot. There are actually 1.8 million people participating in this game. Everything has been explained, so let's begin. The scene changes. The man arrived in a virtual space that only he could see. People will replicate a body to contain their transferred soul. The man chose his previous setting, Black Scythe. As the virtual space disappeared, he appeared in a grassland. Having experienced 100 regressions, the man could clearly feel it. This virtual body was already in perfect sync with his real one. Looking at the group of people showing off how they designed themselves to be handsome men and beautiful women, he couldn't help but chuckle. In this world where the strong prey on the weak, having only a good appearance will just accelerate one's death. In the game, if you perish in the virtual world, then you'll also die in the real world. This virtual space has more than one area. Each area is supervised by an angel. At the same time, the angel appeared in the sky again and then proceeded to explain the rules. Everyone will have a status window. Look at your initial stats. If you played games before, you'll realize how trash your own package is. Become stronger by clearing the rounds. If you can survive after 20 rounds of tasks, you will be freed and return to the real world. You will also have one of your wishes granted. Of course, this is obviously a reward only for the first place winner among you. You will have some random rune items in your backpack. The random items are single-use items, only usable at level 1. You can use an item by mentally chanting use. The random items you get depend on your luck. After explaining the game's rules, with a snap of the angel's fingers, countless goblins appeared from the ground. Then a window prompt appeared. Kill all the goblins. The resurrection skill, which only exists among priests, was easily obtained by the man through his effortless slaughter. Just as the system announced the mission, everyone was still in a state of panic. The man was seen stepping forward directly. The next second, he lifted his leg and instantly kicked a goblin flying. The man knew well that making a good first impression was very important. But most importantly, he wanted to attract the angel's attention, to become the focus of her observation. For that, he needed some strength, a display of power unfitting for a rookie. For the man who had restarted the instance 99 times, this was obviously something that could be accomplished with ease. The man was fiercely slaughtering the goblins. After seeing the man's effortless slaughter, the crowd immediately thought it was a very simple task. But for them, they had clearly underestimated the goblin's strength. After just a moment, the crowd was being slaughtered by the goblins, fleeing in all directions. After this series of events, clearly, no one would think this was a game anymore. There was only one thing they could think of now: to survive. Everyone was busy running away. The man had done the same thing when the instance first started. This is a natural, instinctive reaction of the human body. It was after restarting the instance twice that the man discovered there was no point in running away in this grassland. Modern people who have never even killed a small animal in real life could not easily kill a goblin. But if one wanted to survive to the end in this game, one must overcome this instinct. At this moment, the angel was watching the scene of mutual slaughter. What an interesting sight. But she soon noticed the unusually ferocious man. She was very curious about this and immediately checked the man's information. However, the information list only showed his mission progress, without displaying any basic information. The angel seemed very annoyed by this. It clearly offended her self-proclaimed noble bloodline. But it was precisely the existence of these restrictions that made observing him all the more interesting. At this time, the man was continuously hunting goblins. The system was constantly popping up notifications. You have killed a goblin. EXP +4. Gained 10 gold coins. You have leveled up. After a long period of slaughter, the man finally stopped his actions and checked his status window. His level had reached 4. He got 2 stat points for each level up. The man unhesitatingly added the stat points to his agility. Because at the beginning of the game, nothing was more important than the agility stat. Agility not only increases evasion ability, but also attack and movement speed. After a brief adjustment, it was time to end this damned mission. He then actively walked towards the goblin horde, accompanied by a series of system prompts. You have completed the first round mission. Congratulations on being the first to complete the mission in this area. Congratulations on being the first to complete the mission in the entire region. The man frantically hunted goblins. Besides wanting to attract the angel's attention, it was also because the faster he completed the mission each round, the richer the rewards given by the system. Of course, these rewards were limited to the top 3. The reward for ranking first in the area this time was a weapon selection coupon. The reward for ranking first in all regions was a special reward selection chest. The man then chose a weapon. He did not open the region's treasure chest. Apparently, it wasn't the right time to open it. In addition to this, the man unexpectedly obtained title. The last time reverser, hidden. This was something he had never encountered in his 99 restarts. He then used a random rune. The system immediately popped up a notification. Congratulations on obtaining the anti-time rune. The obtained rune will be automatically inscribed into the player's body. The system detected a correspondence with the player's soul. The rune's characteristics caused the inscription to fail. Through the remnants inscribed in the soul, it was confirmed that the man is a 100-time regressor, obtained the last-time regressor title. The man was particularly shocked by this, because in this game, a title was a more precious existence than a rune. Its effects were clearly better than runes, and it was harder to obtain. The man looked at the popped-up title window. Upon death, you can remain on the spot for 1 minute. You can restore all stamina at any time. And in the man's memory, resurrection only existed as a skill for priests. Its effect was only a 30 stamina recovery. The man was very happy about this. How interesting. The angel who could kill people with a single glance was directly knocked to the ground by the man with 1 punch. It was because the angel only had the privilege of a one-time instant kill. The man, however, was a monster who had regressed 99 times and understood the rules of this game very well. After obtaining the very powerful title, the man decided to hide it. Looking at the mission that was about to be completed, he then saw Huang Yongmin in the crowd. It looked like he was about to complete the mission too. At this moment, the angel was looking at the battlefield on the ground, watching the crowd and the goblins gradually get closer. No wonder the entertainment value has dropped. It's a bit boring. Well then, let's add something more exciting. The next second, all the corpses on the ground gradually disappeared. Then, 50,000 more goblins were added to the ground. Alright, this is much more interesting now. Seeing this, the crowd immediately cursed Outer Family. But they had no choice but to throw themselves back into the battlefield. Time passed bit by bit. The number of people completing the mission also increased. The final number was fixed at 5,143. The goblins also vanished into thin air. According to the rules of the game, you monkeys who have not yet completed the mission disappear along with them. Looking at your expressions, the survivors must be very happy. Congratulations on passing the first round of the game. I hope you will continue to do your best in the next round. At this time, the results of the first round appeared in the status window. Black Scythe is the first place in the entire region. The equipment, coupon, and treasure chest have been distributed. 1,000 gold coins will be paid out later. I really didn't expect the area I'm in charge of to produce the region's first place. It's truly surprising. Why are you so strong? Or did you get a special rune? The man threw back a question. Can't you see my runes from my status window? At this moment, the angel could only bite the bullet and answer the man's words. As an angel, of course I know. I was just asking you a simple question. At this moment, the man was seen making a request to the angel. The man thought the reward for first place was too stingy. Everyone looked at the man who asked the question with shocked faces. The angel was quite displeased at this. What did you just say? The man said unhurriedly, I want a better reward. The angel was gradually losing her patience. You damn monkey, how dare you make demands of me? Although your performance has made me pay enough attention to you, do you think you're invincible just because you killed a few goblins? The next second, the angel spread her arms. However, the scene of the man's head exploding did not occur. She had forgotten that she only had a one-time instant kill privilege. Apparently, she had already used it at the beginning. How hateful. I can't kill him instantly. She slowly calculated how to deal with the man and thought of a better way. She immediately changed her tune. You said you want a better reward, right? According to the usual rules, you would be directly annihilated. But you are the first in the entire region. Come with me. She then led the man deep into the forest. These insatiable monkeys. How could it be my turn to change the rewards set by the higher-ups? Even if there were, you lowly monkey wouldn't deserve it. The consequence of not knowing when to quit while you're ahead. The lesson awaiting you will surely be a harsh one. Let me show you what happens to the greedy. If I were to annihilate the man for personal reasons, the higher-ups would definitely hold her responsible. Then the game would become meaningless. She needed a place with no witnesses. A moment later, they arrived at a deserted spot. Tell me, what reward do you want? The next second, what she couldn't comprehend was that a fist would be what greeted her. The man directly threw a punch at the angel, instantly sending her flying. The angel who could kill people with a single glance was knocked to the ground by the man with one punch, and had her wings directly torn off by him. It was because the man was a 99-time regressor and knew about the hidden mission in the virtual world, and thus obtained an extremely rare class change item. The angel, after being knocked down, still had a shocked and disbelieving expression. This lowly monkey actually dared to lay a hand on her. She was instantly enraged. "You damn bastard." But after turning around, the angel did not see the man's figure. The next second, the man was seen grabbing the angel's wings, instantly yanking out the angel's feathers by the root. How is it? Very comfortable, right? I'd love to see how an angel without wings runs away. I don't think you'll be making that annoying laugh of yours anymore. You wanted to kill me with the dagger hidden in your wings. It's a pity you chose the wrong target. At this time, the angel repeatedly tried to argue, claiming she never had such a thought. The man gestured for her not to use lies to hide her inner thoughts. "Take off your mask, Bluel." The angel was especially shocked. Why would a human know her name? Then, the man walked towards the angel with the dagger. The angel was now in a state of extreme panic. "Do you want her head to explode?" Facing the angel's threat, the man appeared unhurried. "You clearly don't have the ability to kill anymore. Don't pretend you're so invincible. This kind of threat is obviously meaningless to me." Seeing that the man wasn't falling for her act, she tried another tactic. "If you kill me, you'll only attract the pursuit of my companions." The man chuckled lightly. "You angels are all exquisite egoists. They clearly won't care whether you live or die." Seeing the man was impervious to both threats and persuasion, the angel offered to provide him with useful information. The man looked indifferent to this. "I don't think I need your information." Saying this, he stabbed the angel with the dagger. The angel fell to the ground. At the same time, a system prompt appeared. An angel has been defeated. The first player to defeat an angel has been confirmed. Obtained the first Angel Slayer title. Received reward, Angel's Blood. The man looked at the item in his hand. As expected, it was the reward for being the first to kill an angel. The man knew about this reward from his 13th regression. He knew it was a hidden, unique mission. It also dropped a special item. Effect: dropped. Angel's Blood and Slaughter ruin most. Only the first player to kill an angel has the right to. However, the most important reason the man killed the angel was for the angel's blood, because in this virtual world, all players would get a class after level 10. There are over 30 classes in total. The method to obtain a class is simple. Find a class change item. Usually, items can be obtained through hunting or simple quests, but there are also special classes. Only one player among all players under special conditions, or in a specific environment, can obtain it. It is a unique hidden class. Of course, there is a significant difference between a unique hidden class and a normal class. Bonus stats, rune choices, and skill combinations are clearly much better than those of normal classes. But even with the boost from such a class, the man still returned to the initial round after 20 rounds. It seems it's time to use the all-region reward chest. Right now, the most important thing is to quickly reach level 10. So the man decisively chose the 3x experience buff reward. The 100th regression. There is no other choice. He must make himself stronger by any means necessary. At this point, the first round of the game was over. 900,000 people were still alive. The scene changes. Everyone left the virtual environment and returned to reality. At this moment, everyone was still in a dazed state. Was this a dream? Why did it feel so real? Even the time could overlap with the time in the dream. Looking around, everyone was the same. Did they all fall asleep? They couldn't help but feel very confused. At this moment, Huang Yongmin looked at the people still on the ground. He discovered that some of them were no longer breathing, and only then did he realize this was not a dream, but a real, endless game. Failing to complete a mission in the game means death in reality. At this moment, Huang Yongmin felt no fear, because to him, this was just too interesting. The first thing the man did upon returning to reality was to directly suppress the blondie. In his past life, the blondie had always bullied the man's younger brother. The man not only broke the blondie's hand, but also beat him until he doubted his own existence. After returning to reality from the first round of the game, and after verifying that the virtual space's power would descend upon the real world, Hwang Yong-min did not feel afraid. Instead, it made him very excited, because this world was originally very unfair. Because of this event, people from any social class will now live on equal footing. There's no longer any need to lament the grievances of life. He then looked around and saw strange clothes. Hwang Yong-min was very shocked. He then tried to call up his status window. The next second, the status window appeared before Hwang Yong-min's eyes. Since the status window could be brought into reality, then items and stats should also be usable. He then picked up a stone to conduct an experiment to verify his guess. The next second, the stone was instantly crushed in his hand. Hwang Yong-min looked at the crushed stone in his hand and revealed a very sinister smile. The scene changes. At this time, the media was also reporting on the events of the day. It wasn't just this country that encountered this strange incident. The same thing happened in 128 countries around the world. At this moment, the man was browsing information on his phone. The man knew well that this was just the beginning. The survivors were called players. The players' abilities had already been converted into reality. It was just that only the first round of the game had started. The players' stats were still in their initial state, so it hadn't had a major impact on real life yet. But as the game's difficulty increases, they will become transcendent entities, and no weapon or military force will be able to eliminate these so-called players. Players will rise above the people. If this is allowed to develop, then the world will be on the verge of destruction before they even reach 20 rounds of the game. The man understood that the only way to solve this incident was to control them with overwhelming power. Of course, if he wanted to reach the end of the game, he had to use a different method than before. The man needed 5 teammates to clear the rounds together. At this time, the man already had preliminary recruitment targets in mind, but now was clearly not the time, because there was a more important matter to handle. The scene changes. The man returned home. Looking at the boy still sleeping, it was the man's younger brother in reality. The man had an ordinary family. His parents died in a car accident. Since then, the two of them had depended on each other. Looking at the bandage on his brother's hand, the man fell into a brief contemplation. In his past life, his younger brother was constantly bullied by Fong Tai-kue from his class, which led to his brother becoming blind in both eyes. The brother, who learned the truth, couldn't protect his younger brother back then. As a man who had restarted 99 times, he naturally wouldn't let his brother suffer the same fate again. Fong Tai-kue, relying on his tall stature, engaged in bullying and extortion every day. He would punch and kick people at the slightest disagreement. At this moment, the man slowly pulled back his thoughts. He then woke up his sleeping brother and went to Fong Tai-kue's secret base. After learning the man's intentions, Fong Tai-kue was very arrogant. He didn't think the man could gain any advantage on his turf. He then called his underlings to teach the man a lesson. Facing the arrogant underlings, the next second, what greeted one of them was a powerful fist, sending him flying instantly. Everyone was very surprised by this. At the same time, they threw punches at the man. The man dodged the punches with a few quick movements. A few heavy punches knocked the underlings to the ground one by one. Fong Tai-kue looked at the current scene, but it didn't make him panic much. He looked down on the man. Looks like you learned some boxing skills somewhere. Do you really want to compete with me using your boxing skills? The man said lightly, haven't you seen the trending topics? Fong Tai-kue was clearly enraged by this. He immediately threw a punch at the man's face. The man unhurriedly dodged between the punches, slowly speaking. If you had watched the news, you wouldn't even have the courage to attack me. The next second, the man infused his fist with power. He then threw a powerful punch at him. The first thing the man did after his return was to spend all his savings on lottery tickets. Not only did he buy a luxury villa, he also became neighbors with the celebrity Su Yaoan. Just after returning to reality, the man brought his younger brother to Fong Tai-kue's warehouse, throwing a punch that sent Fong Tai-kue flying. Fong Tai-kue then launched a counterattack against the man. Unsurprisingly, it was still dodged by the man. Fong Tai-kue didn't land a single punch on the man. The man, however, landed punch after punch on his face. His face was now swollen like a pig's head. Enraged, he attacked the man again. Seeing this, the man directly neutralized his force, flinging his arm and sending Fong Tai Kuei flying. Even though the man had returned 100 times, he still couldn't forgive the harm he had brought to his brother. Only by completely beating him into submission would he prevent the previous events from happening again. He then walked towards him. At this point, Fong Tai Kuei was clearly terrified by the man's formidable strength, his courage shattered. He screamed at the man for mercy and terror. The man looked down at him condescendingly. The one you should never have provoked is my younger brother. At the same time, Fong Tai Kuei's hand was bent at a 90-degree angle. The warehouse was filled with blood-curdling screams. Seeing this, the underlings turned and ran. The man warned Fong Tai Kuei again, signaling him to stay away from his brother, or it wouldn't just be his hand that got bent. Fong Tai Kuei nodded repeatedly, afraid that the man would harm him a second time. The man was very satisfied with this situation, but he still went ahead and bent his other hand. The scene changes. The man and his brother were walking on the street. The younger brother was very curious about the man's actions. The man then slowly explained the reason for what was happening. Players could also use their abilities in the real world. He then took out a short sword from the status window. Looking at the short sword that appeared out of thin air, the younger brother was amazed. The man then explained to his brother what had happened in the game, deliberately concealing his identity as a returner. It turned out that after a previous return, the man had told his brother everything. This was followed by him being kidnapped by other players. Although he successfully rescued his brother in the end, he still didn't want him to suffer such undeserved disasters. And as the game progressed, the struggle between players would only intensify. The man had to make preparations for his brother's safety. As a 100-time returner, he possessed a powerful memory. He then withdrew all his money from the bank and took his brother on a crazy shopping spree and for a big meal. Immediately after, he used the remaining money to buy lottery tickets. Unsurprisingly, the man definitely guessed the winning lottery numbers. After returning, he needed ample financial reserves. Many people had already died in this world. The economy was already in turmoil. In the future, item trading between players would become mainstream. The scene changes. At this moment, Huang Yongmin was still immersed in his power, crazily smashing against the wall. He bet that even Tyson would be envious if he saw such ferocious boxing. He was very satisfied with the test of his fist strength. So, it was time to test its power in the real world. In his past life, Huang Yongmin often bullied the man. He recalled the look the man gave him in New Year's Square. It made him very unhappy. After gaining new abilities, he wanted to find the man's whereabouts and give him a good beating. Unfortunately, the man had already moved out of his original residence. The scene changes. The man, relying on his money power, moved into a luxurious house. He knew very well that on the first of every month, all players would suffer from narcolepsy. This period was the most vulnerable for players. They were extremely susceptible to natural disasters. More importantly, other players would hire assassins. So, he had to find a relatively safe place to go to another virtual space. So, no matter how outstanding you were in the virtual space, if you died in the real world, then everything would be over. At this time, after moving, he and his brother paid a friendly visit to their neighbors. Unexpectedly, on the top floor, lived the celebrity Su Yalan. Seeing this, the bodyguard rejected the two brothers' kind gesture. At this moment, Su Yalan was looking online at the overwhelming news of actors passing away. Those so-called seniors of hers had all failed to survive the first round of attacks. If it weren't for her rune's special characteristic, she probably would have appeared on the trending topics as well. The bodyguard, seeing Su Yalan in a daze, asked her what was wrong. Su Yalan expressed her confusion. Why had the world suddenly become like this? The first round alone had left her overwhelmed. What was she going to do in the next round of the game? The bodyguard gestured for her not to worry. He would protect Su Yalan's safety. Su Yalan responded with a smile. At first, she was quite cautious. She thought the bodyguard arranged by the company was actually monitoring her actions. But after the first round of the game, if the bodyguard hadn't been there to protect her, she would have died in the first round. Su Yalan expressed her sincere gratitude. At this moment, Su Yalan recalled the two brothers from earlier. It seemed one of the kids was over 15 years old. He had also made it out of the first round alive. To be able to live so calmly after such a cruel experience. This triggered the woman's memory. That Black Death scythe. In front of him, the goblin seemed so pitiful. He completed the first round's mission with devastating ease. She couldn't help but feel a deep curiosity about him. If she could team up with such a strong person for the mission, then she could survive the second round of the game. the scene changes. The beginning of the month quietly arrived. All humans were transported to the virtual space. The place they were transported to this time was not the previous location. At this moment, everyone recognized the first-place player from the last round, Black Scythe. Just as everyone was whispering among themselves, an angel appeared before them. This angel was clearly not the previous angel. It then slowly spoke. The second round of the game has begun. The moment the man appeared, he became the center of attention in the crowd. This was because the man not only dared to openly challenge the angel, but also possessed immense strength that surpassed everyone else. Just after the angel announced the start of the second round, the mission requirements popped up in everyone's windows. An area commander will be selected in 3 hours. At this moment, everyone was still in a daze about the area commander. The angel then spoke slowly. As you can see from a mission, this round is not about fighting. As long as an area commander is chosen, the test will be considered a success. If you become the area commander, you can use the commander's authority to forcibly command other players. In other words, your life will be in someone else's hands. The area commander will possess the most authoritative power. The vote will be held in 3 hours. The person with the most votes will become the area commander. At the same time, a passerby raised a question to the angel, clearly unable to believe this round's mission would be so simple. After receiving a positive answer from the angel, everyone's faces were filled with relaxed expressions. Because this mission didn't require any casualties. Everyone understood the mission's requirements. The countdown then began. Hearing this news, Hwang Yongmin was extremely depressed. He had originally come into this round with the mindset of getting into a big fight, but the result was completely unexpected. At the same time, the man looked at Hwang Yongmin's back. Seeing the muscle definition all over his body, he must have gotten the strength rune. At this moment, everyone was discussing the matter of who to choose as commander. The man knew very well that the most important thing right now was not selecting a commander, but to quickly level up and trigger the class change quest. While there is a main quest in the game, there will also be a side quest. Deep in the forest, the man was quickly clearing out monsters. Immediately, a series of system prompts popped up. You have killed a goblin. You have received a 3x experience bonus. You have obtained 15 gold coins. Due to the effect of the slaughter rune, all stats have increased by 1 point. The man looked at the rich rewards and remarked, leveling up deep in the forest is really a good choice. At this moment, the man looked at the dense army of goblins. Without a trace of fear, he was instead eager to try. As a series of windows popped up, he finally dealt with this army of goblins. The man's level in the status window was fixed at level 9. He still added the points to the agility stat. If he had a strength rune like Hwang Yongmin, adding them to strength would also be a good choice. But if all points were added to the strength stat, it would obviously be difficult to survive. Pure strength without sufficient agility would end the entire game upon encountering a fatal injury. Players initially have 4 stats: strength, intelligence, agility, and luck. Strength affects physical damage, stamina, and defense. Intelligence affects magic damage, mentality, and reaction speed. Agility affects attack speed, movement, and evasion. Luck affects critical hit chance, item drops, and gold rewards. They all have very important roles. The man's Reaper class has both physical and magical dual damage, so the most ideal point distribution is to allocate them evenly. At this moment, the man discovered that someone was following him. He hadn't paid attention to his surroundings while fighting just now. He immediately took out his short sword, pointed it at a bush, and gestured for them to come out. A woman then walked out from behind a tree. The man looked at the woman who appeared before him. This person was none other than Su Yalan. There was also a man following beside her. Su Yalan apologized profusely for following the man and gestured for him to calm down. At the same time, the man was particularly surprised looking at the person next to Su Yalan and Sangtaek. In his previous life, he was Ma Kyung-rak's most capable subordinate. Ma Kyung-rak was the eldest son of a top domestic family, a player known as the Heavenly Demon in the game, and Ma Kyung-rak was one of the targets the man wanted to win over. He also needed the priest by his side. The man needed 5 players to raid the 20th floor boss together. He didn't expect to meet Ma Kyung-rak's key subordinates so soon. But why was he with Su Yalan? He quickly figured out the whole story. Rumor had it that Ma Kyung-rak invested in an entertainment company, and Su Yalan was a member of that company. The man next to her should be the bodyguard he saw yesterday. Despite this, the man did not change his aggressive stance. He asked why they were following him. Su Yalan deeply After seeing the man's exaggerated strength, she wanted to form a team with him. Hearing this, the man understood their purpose, but he did not agree to Su Yaolin's request. He immediately told the two of them to leave. He had no intention of forming a team right now. He then disappeared deep into the forest. After the man left, Su Yaolin collapsed to the ground. Is the aura of the number one player that strong? Powerful people are indeed all arrogant. She then looked at the devastation on the ground. They couldn't have imagined that there would be so many goblins deep in the forest. Not forming a team to grind monsters and level up was also a good choice. She then also disappeared deep into the forest. Time passed quickly. The man was constantly hunting monsters. A steady stream of monsters launched attacks against the man. The man accepted them all with a smile. At this moment, a system prompt came through. You have leveled up. You have reached level 10. You have met the conditions for a class change. The man could instantly kill an NPC as soon as he entered the game, simply because the condition to change class to Reaper was Angel's Blood. While everyone else was still struggling to grind monsters and level up, the man had long since changed his class to the mythic grade class, Reaper. Just after the man reached level 10, the system sent out a prompt. The man looked at the status window that showed he could change his class. If a player in the game triggers a hidden class change quest, then everyone else will also be given a subquest. Looking at the suddenly appearing status window, they were all very confused. To get the class change quest, specific conditions must be met. The player's level must reach 10, and they also need to kill 30 monsters within 1 hour. Each class change has different mission requirements. To change class to Berserker, one needs to fight in a bleeding state for a period of time. To change class to Assassin, one needs to successfully backstab multiple monsters. In other words, players need to complete conditions related to their own class to obtain the class change item. The man initially had to constantly track monsters and repeatedly flee to change his class to Hunter. But ever since obtaining the Reaper class, the man had always kept this special class. At this moment, the man took out the Angel's Blood from his storage and immediately used the class change item. At this moment, the system sent a prompt. The chosen class cannot be changed after selection. Please choose carefully. Do you wish to change your class to Reaper? The man pressed the button without hesitation. A golden light instantly enveloped him. You have changed your class to Reaper. You have received the class change reward, Reaper Rune. During the day, weapon attacks will deal double damage. At night, attack speed is increased by 50. The passive effect reduces the probability of being discovered by enemies at night. The rune was then automatically inscribed onto the man. Successfully changed class and obtained Reaper's Scythe. Completed the class change quest. Obtained a 50 discount coupon. His military rank also rose from bronze to silver. There are 6 military ranks in the game: bronze, silver, gold, diamond, king, and master. It has the same mechanism as all games. As the rank increases, new skills or abilities will be unlocked. After changing class, the man unlocked a Reaper exclusive skill, Mark of Death. A target unit marked with Mark of Death allows you to see their remaining stamina. The next attack will deal 100 increased damage. The passive is that it can only affect one target unit. After successfully changing class, you can equip higher level weapons. If you can't complete the class change quest, you'll be stuck with the title of a newbie for the rest of the time. So, the faster you change class, the better. At the same time, another system prompt came through. Congratulations on being the first player in the entire region to successfully change class. Reward: a random gold pouch. It also comes with a universal skill, tracking. The tracking skill can track a desired target. The man then thought about testing the skill's effect. He immediately entered Huang Yongmin's name and initiated tracking. The status window then sent a prompt. The position of the track player has been confirmed. Distance to target, 190 meters. To track the target, simply follow the arrow's position. The man looked at the distance of only 190 meters. Huang Yongmin had clearly also entered the forest. Driven by curiosity, the man walked in the direction of the arrow. The scene changes. Su Yaolin and her bodyguard were running quickly. One of them stumbled and fell to the ground. Her right leg was injured by an arrow. Facing the enemy's pursuit, it was clear she could no longer escape. At the same time, a sinister laugh came from behind. The newcomers were none other than Huang Yongmin's group. The bodyguard couldn't help but curse angrily. He could only brace himself and duel with them. Huang Yongmin couldn't help but laugh when he saw this scene. "Do you really want to duel with so many of us?" The bodyguard questioned him, asking why he was doing this. Huang Yongmin replied unhurriedly, "There's no particular reason. I just took a liking to the woman behind you." This was because they could tell from the woman's appearance that she was the real-life celebrity, Su Yalan. Even though one could freely change their appearance in the virtual space, it didn't stop them from wanting to obtain a body with the face of a female celebrity. Huang Yongmin warned the bodyguard, "Hand over Su Yalan, and he could let him go." The bodyguard was calculating in his mind. If he had abandoned Su Yalan and fled from the start, the current outcome wouldn't have happened, because the bodyguard clearly didn't want to die for her. But what worried him was that doing so would violate Ma Kyung-rak's orders. He could only brace himself and fight back. "Don't you know that doing this is against the law?" Huang Yongmin looked at the bodyguard's words with disdain. "Are you kidding me? You want to talk to me about the law in this place? Even if I kill you, there won't be any evidence." Although the bodyguard was furious at his words, he still agreed with Huang Yongmin's statement. Just as the bodyguard was preparing for a life-or-death struggle with Huang Yongmin, the man appeared between the two groups. Everyone was very shocked by the man's appearance and also quite puzzled. Why did he come here? At this moment, the man asked for the reason for the fight. The bodyguard said that Huang Yongmin had ambushed them, and he immediately asked the man to help them. At this time, Huang Yongmin warned the man with a disdainful look, advising him not to meddle in other people's business. The man was very dissatisfied with this answer. An incomparably immense, bloodthirsty aura immediately erupted from him, and he drew out the crimson death scythe. A transcendent being who could shatter a wall with one punch was sent flying tens of meters by the man's kick, and he was beaten to the point of questioning his existence. Just as the man was preparing to lend a helping hand, he was calculating in his mind. Saving Ma Kyung-rak's trusted subordinate in the game would surely leave a great impression on him. If he could make such a figure owe him a favor, the returns would snowball. Besides, this guy Huang Yongmin had been an object of the man's dislike from beginning to end. Huang Yongmin watched the man gradually approaching him. At this moment, his heart was in an extreme panic. He spouted some useless trash talk. The man raised an eyebrow slightly. "What, didn't you really want to fight me?" "Bastard, someone who can easily one-shot goblins and casually take first place in the game. Presumably, no one would want to have friction with a monster." At this moment, the man was teasing the crowd. "Of course, if you kneel and beg me, and I'm in a good mood, I'll consider letting you go." Huang Yongmin listened to the man's extremely arrogant words. He didn't want to lose face in front of his underlings. He recalled the scene in the real world where he shattered a wall with one punch. In the face of absolute power, even the man wouldn't gain any advantage. After thinking it through, Huang Yongmin gained the confidence to challenge the man. Swinging his arms, he slowly walked towards the man. If he landed a punch on the man's face, no matter how strong he was, he would be helpless. After all, a human face couldn't be as sturdy as a wall. The man watched Huang Yongmin walk towards him, then put his weapon away. Beating you with a weapon is no fun at all. Winning so easily is just too boring. Huang Yongmin was delighted to see this. The next second, the man instantly appeared in front of Huang Yongmin. Looking at the man who had flashed before him, he directly threw a punch. The scene of the man falling to the ground did not appear. Instead, Huang Yongmin took a direct punch. An overwhelming pain erupted in his stomach. He was then instantly kicked tens of meters away by the man. After falling, Huang Yongmin was still cursing at the man. The man kicked him away once more. He then grabbed Huang Yongmin by the collar and began to smash him crazily. Huang Yongmin couldn't believe the fists hitting his face. It felt like being sent flying by a hammer, very similar to the strength rune he had obtained. Facing the man's frantic smashing, Huang Yongmin's underling shouted for him to stop and immediately shot an arrow at the man. Facing the sudden arrow, Su Yalan quickly reminded the man to dodge. The man unhurriedly dodged the arrow's attack. With a few flashes, he appeared beside him. He swiftly summoned his death scythe and threw it directly. This was followed by the underling's arm being instantly chopped off. Seeing this scene, the underlings mustered their courage and launched an attack on the man. The man silently applied the mark of death. He then swung the crimson scythe. As one bloody scene after another appeared, watching such a ferocious attack, everyone was instantly scared out of their wits. A target with the mark of death would take double damage. Even with the protection of armor, their defense was easily broken. After a few moments, the ground was littered with wailing underlings. The casualties were heavy. The physical pain, coupled with the deep fear branded into their minds, would prevent them from having any thoughts of retaliation. A moment later, the man was walking deep in the forest. He then casually spoke toward the bush. Do you think you can escape by hiding? There are no exceptions in my dictionary. Before he finished speaking, the death scythe swung out. It directly hit Huang Yongmin's arm. This was followed by a heart-wrenching scream. The man recalled his past life, the psychological and physical damage Huang Yongmin had inflicted on him. The pain Huang Yongmin was suffering now was not even 1/10 of what the man had suffered in his past life. The bodyguard and Su Yalan were extremely shocked. To be able to act so ruthlessly against an opponent who had already lost the will to fight. Although it was bloody and cruel for the opponent, the bodyguard greatly admired the man's way of handling things, that ability to maintain a calm mind at all times. The man called Black Scythe was worthy of being compared to his master. He then expressed his most sincere gratitude to the man and posed a question to him. Why not choose the simplest option, death, but end the battle in another way? Doing so might even create future trouble for you. The man then spoke slowly to end this game. There's no benefit to reducing the number of people. On the contrary, it will cause the number of people who can pass the stage to decrease accordingly. As for the threat you mentioned, in the face of overwhelming strength, it won't cause the slightest ripple. At this moment, the bodyguard could deeply feel from the man's words how terrifying a person who had such strong confidence in his own strength and could control even the smallest details of the game was. The bodyguard was thinking of a way to contact the man to thank him in the real world. But the man, with a cool expression, disappeared into the distance. The bodyguard glanced at the spot where the man disappeared. It seemed he had to report this matter to his master when he got back. What was originally the most useless rune had produced an unexpected effect. In the first round of the game, the young man obtained a random rune. The young man was very disappointed with the rune fragment he got and scoffed at the rune's ability. Effect increases your chance to persuade a target. It is ineffective against those of a higher level than oneself. The young man knew this after trying it. This rune had no effect on monsters at all. However, he soon found an effective way to use it. He used the rune's ability to transfer everyone to another battlefield. Then he could finish off those barely alive monsters. So he quickly passed the first round of the game's test. The rules of the second round seemed to be tailor-made for the young man, because he had a unique rune power. This was his advantage, persuading everyone to vote for him to become the area commander, just as the young man was persuading the crowd. A large man voiced his opposition. This person was the second-ranked player in the region. Life is a documentary. He had heard enough of the young man's damn speech. He then directly started berating him. Who do you think you are to so easily designate an area commander? You agitator, I think you're tired of living. At this moment, the young man had a shocked expression. Could it be that his ability had been discovered? He still tried to use words to influence the large man before him. The uncle had an angry expression. Are you trying to tell me what to do? I think you're playing with fire. At this moment, seeing that it had no effect on the uncle, the young man turned back to the crowd and accelerated his brainwashing. The next second, Documentary stabbed at the young man with a short sword. The young man fell into a pool of blood with a look of disbelief. Everyone was shocked by Documentary's sudden rampage, their faces mixed with fear. Facing the crowd that was still commenting on his actions, Documentary suppressed them, launching a bloody slaughter against them. A moment later, Documentary was seen intimidating them. If they didn't choose him, what awaited them would be death. Everyone was angry but dared not speak out. If he could become the area commander, he could kill that damn Black Scythe. Then he could become #1 in the region. The scene changes. As a series of system prompts popped up, the man's level on his status panel was fixed at 16. He lamented that his leveling speed had slowed down because his level was already very high. Fortunately, hunting was very easy for the man because he had the Reaper rune and the Slaughter rune. The Reaper rune could double his attack power. The Slaughter rune could double the stats he obtained. At the same time, the voting countdown had reached its final second. Enveloped by a golden light, all players were teleported to the starting point. Everyone showed looks of horror when they saw a large number of bodies. They all guessed what had happened in this area. The man looked at the scene. It seemed Documentary had seized hegemony over this region. He was the second-ranked fighter in the region, but his personality was terrible. He pondered how to deal with this time bomb, but it was clearly not the right time yet. At this moment, documentary looked at the man's back and slowly walked over. The man, with his hands in his pockets, asked what he wanted. Documentary replied, "Nothing, just a suggestion. To put it bluntly, I want you to be under me." "Be under you?" "Yes, that way I can spare your life." Facing the threat, the man appeared calm and indifferent. "If you kneel and beg me, I'll consider sparing your dog's life." Documentary's face turned extremely gloomy. "I think you don't understand the situation. In this region, only I am fit to be the area commander." Listening to Documentary's incessant chatter, the man summoned his death scythe. Documentary looked at the man who had taken out a weapon, unable to believe how he had obtained it. It seemed he had provoked a formidable character. It was impossible for him to kneel to the man. He immediately brandished a short sword and was about to attack the man. At this moment, the man was calculating in his mind. If he used his weapon to suppress Documentary now, it would complicate the game. He still needed this puppet. He could make use of him in the third round. It was time for the angel to appear. The next second, the angel appeared above the crowd. The man said lightly, "You're really lucky, kid. Pick your opponent carefully next time you challenge someone. Otherwise, you'll only be facing death." At this moment, Documentary's mood was extremely foul. "Bastard, I'll let you go this time. Once I become the area commander, what awaits you will be my endless revenge." At this moment, the angel looked at the players lying on the ground and spoke slowly. "It seems you really are dogs biting dogs. I don't care at all about the deaths of you trashy humans. I only care about the results of the vote." At the same time, the voting option appeared in everyone's status windows. The vote for the area commander has begun. Each person can cast one vote. The one who receives the most votes will become the area commander. Those who fail to complete their vote within 5 minutes will be eliminated and die. The countdown immediately began. As expected, all eyes were focused on Life is a Documentary. As the voting countdown reached 0, the angel immediately announced the voting results. Life is a Documentary received 2,412 votes, ranking first. Black Scythe received 2,077 votes. The angel then announced that Life is a Documentary had become the area commander of this region. Documentary was granted the regional command authority. At this moment, Documentary revealed a sinister smile. He would make Black Scythe regret his earlier decision. He would be able to dominate the fate of others. But looking at the system prompt that popped up, the area commander could only forcibly command one person to obey an order at a time, and only had 10 uses. The skill was also ineffective against players who had a class. Damn it, what a useless skill. It has no effect on humans who have class. Just then, the angel slowly spoke. "Did you think there was only one mission in this round of the game? That's not the case. You also have a submission, obtain a class change item, and successfully change to a class." While everyone was still confused, with a snap of the fingers, a list of everyone who had completed their class change appeared in the status window. Black Scythe, a level 16 class change profession. The man had merely successfully changed his class and received the reward for the entire region. After the angel announced the list, everyone looked at each other, thinking about the man. At this moment, Documentary's face was extremely grim. "Damn it, I was going to use the commander's authority to make him commit suicide. I didn't expect that guy to have already changed his class to a Reaper." The angel looked at the announced list window. "In our region, there's a guy named Black Scythe. Not only is he first in this region, but he's also first in the entire region." She then asked the man a question. "Your class is very similar to your nickname. Did you know long ago that you would change your class to a Reaper?" The man gave a perfunctory answer to the angel's question, claiming he had just stumbled upon the class by chance. Just as the man had guessed, the angel didn't know the conditions for changing to the Reaper class. She only knew about this unique Reaper class. The angel didn't make things difficult for the man. Is this the choice of fate? How interesting. This region actually has a player who has successfully changed class. Then he will be the only player who cannot be controlled. At this point, everyone had questions about the angel's words. What does it mean to not be bound by the commander's authority? For players with a class, the commander's authority loses its effect. In other words, the commander cannot command Black Scythe. Even with the authority to command, it only has 10 uses. The commander's authority cannot be used without limit. Faced with the angel's answer, everyone came to a sudden realization. At the same time, Documentary started cursing. "You damn angel! What do you mean by telling them everything?" The angel ignored Documentary's remarks and proceeded to distribute the rewards for first in the region and first in the entire area. With a snap of her fingers, a system prompt appeared. Congratulations on achieving first place in this region. The reward for first place in the region was an armor exchange coupon. The reward for first place in the entire area was a special treasure chest. The man had made countless exchanges before, so he didn't need to struggle with the choice of armor. Number 1 heavy armor seemed a bit clumsy. Number 3 armor had no defensive capabilities. He immediately chose the veteran's leather armor. As for the special treasure chest, the man knew well that many monsters would appear in the third round of the game, so he still chose the experience buff reward. At this time, the angel spoke slowly. Since the rewards have been distributed, you can now return to your real lives. The next round is the third round. Believe me, the game will become even more interesting. After the second round of the game, 4,988 players in this region survived. Then, a system prompt appeared. Soul transferring to the existing body. The scene changes. Huang Yongmin suddenly woke up with a start. He looked at his arm, which was still intact. He was very fortunate. Indeed, as long as you don't die in the virtual space, nothing will happen. At this moment, he understood. He would definitely not provoke Black Scythe again. The consequences were clearly not something he could accept. The scene changes. At this time, Su Yaoan and her bodyguard had also returned to the villa area. The two were still shaken by their experience in the second round of the game. However, Su Yaoan still expressed her sincere gratitude to the bodyguard. The bodyguard said it was what a manager and guard should do. Su Yaoan then wanted to thank Black Scythe again, asking the bodyguard if there was a way. He had no clue about it. Without knowing the other party's appearance, it was impossible to find him. It seemed Black Scythe was also trying his best to avoid excessive involvement in reality. Even after proposing the idea of a real-world reward to Black Scythe, he had decisively rejected the request. He must also be worried that being exposed in real life would bring him trouble. If you really want to thank Black Scythe, you can give him an item in the virtual space as a token of gratitude. Su Yaoan agreed with the bodyguard's suggestion. She needed to think carefully about how to reward Black Scythe. Afterwards, the bodyguard left Su Yaoan's residence. He immediately made a phone call to report to Ma Jinglu. Because he had seen the statistics window, the bodyguard knew that his master had also successfully changed his class. After the call connected, the bodyguard first congratulated his master on changing class to Dark Knight. He then reported that he and Su Yaoan were only level 8 and gave a report on what had happened, which was also related to Black Scythe. Ma Jinglu became very interested in this and ordered the bodyguard to come to his residence to report the details. After hanging up, the bodyguard drove to Ma Jinglu's residence. At the same time, the man appeared in a corner of the underground garage. It turned out that 10 minutes before returning to the real world, the man had started tracking the bodyguard. The result showed a distance of only 9 meters, leading him to conclude that the bodyguard was currently with Su Yaoan. As the distance gradually increased, he wanted to verify whether the bodyguard would go to Ma Jinglu's residence. Seeing the result, the man showed a satisfied expression. That night, Ma Jinglu pondered his own speculations. Black Scythe, as the first place in the first and second rounds of the game, who wouldn't know of such a famous figure? Such a figure wouldn't make things difficult for my confidant, would he? If so, I can't just stand by and do nothing. Making things difficult for my subordinate is considered a challenge to Ma Jinglu. He would unhesitatingly clear any obstacle in his way, even if you were the world's number 1. The item the woman casually gave the man was indeed the rarest existence in the game. Not only did it have a powerful effect, it also possessed extremely special attributes, just as Ma Jinglu had the bodyguard come to his residence. After a simple exchange of pleasantries, the bodyguard congratulated the representative on his successful class change. He then asked how he had obtained the class change item. Ma Jinglu said it was due to luck, claiming he got it while hunting monsters. In fact, the reason Ma Jinglu could successfully change his class was thanks to a random rune obtained in the first round of the game. He had obtained a Dark Knight rune fragment. Not only did it increase all his stats, but most importantly, upon reaching level 10, he could automatically change class to become a Dark Knight. He was very lucky to have obtained such a cheat-like item in the first round of the game. However, even when facing a subordinate he treated like family, he would not reveal important information, because a person can change in an instant. This is human nature. He then asked the bodyguard who had harmed them, was it Black Scythe? Facing Ma Jinglu's words, the bodyguard quickly shook his head. In fact, he saved our lives. Ma Jinglu was particularly shocked by this result and asked for the details. If Black Scythe hadn't rescued them, the bodyguard would have lost his life in the second round of the game. Perhaps Miss Yalin would have survived, but she might have suffered psychological trauma, preventing her from continuing her current work. Ma Jinglu was furious at this moment. Not only did he almost lose his precious subordinate, his business was also nearly ruined. Thanks to Black Scythe, his subordinate and his business were now intact. It seems he owes a favor. He will compensate Black Scythe. Black Scythe refusing compensation is probably because he's afraid of exposing his identity. He then said to the bodyguard, "If you see Black Scythe in the next round of the game, be sure to greet him on my behalf and pay close attention to his movements to see if he needs help." Ma Jinglu is not the type of person who doesn't repay his debts. Finally, he asked the bodyguard for the nicknames of those thugs. At this moment, the man appeared downstairs. Now that he had confirmed the bodyguard's destination, it was time for him to leave. This was all thanks to his brother's appearance, that he learned they had a connection with Ma Jinglu. If he could make full use of his identity as a neighbor, it would help him gain Ma Jinglu's trust. But he still had to consider whether Ma Jinglu was suitable for the team he was about to form, because Ma Jinglu's rune was truly very powerful. But his rune had a most fatal flaw. To use the power of the Dark Knight, one needed to charge a special mana called Dark Mana. This dark magic obviously couldn't be obtained through ordinary methods. In a way, this ability seemed particularly suitable for a player like Ma Jinglu, who had psychopathic tendencies. Of course, teaming up with such a player was also very dangerous. For now, he would keep Ma Jinglu as a candidate and use his abilities as much as he could, because besides Ma Jinglu, there were many other capable players. The scene changes. Julie arrived at her father's shop. Due to the impact of the virtual space on reality, business in real life had become very difficult. Seeing her anxious father, Julie used her skill in the next second. This skill, called Blessing, could increase all stats. It was a mental type skill used to increase vitality. At this moment, the man arrived at the shop. The owner recognized him as the person who bought 100 of the same lottery tickets. Because of him, the lottery shop was forced to close. The man came here to express his apologies and gave the owner $10 million to compensate for his loss. Julie then chased after him. The man and Julie were classmates in real life. Julie possessed a unique, buff skill. In his previous life, he had met Julie in the game and was very surprised to learn for the first time that they were in the same class. Perhaps this was the choice of fate. The man now wanted to use this coincidence to pull Julie into his camp. After the two talked for a while, the man got Julie's number. At this moment, Julie was very excited inside. Julie's interest in the man began during an incident where she saw many people bullying him. She then called the police. Perhaps out of sympathy, she followed behind the man. But she was surprised to find that even after being bullied, the man could still face life with optimism. He was a mentally strong person. From then on, Julie became interested in the man, but she didn't have the courage to talk to him. Time passed quickly, but Julie's feelings for the man grew stronger and stronger, until she met him at the convenience store today. She had to seize this opportunity. She wanted to bravely take a step forward, so she asked the man out for a meal. The man was happy with how things were developing, because he wanted to lead Julie to clear the 20th round of the game. During the meal, they talked about events in the virtual space. After learning that they were not in the same region, the woman seemed a little disappointed. She then cast her skill on the man. With a flash of green light, the man's stats increased by 50. The duration of the blessing was 3 hours. It was just the skill the man had hoped for. The effect of a unique class skill was quite good. As Julie's level increased, her skill's amplification would become 100. The woman then took an item from her status window. It was an item she had obtained while hunting to repay the 10 million the man had given her. The man was particularly shocked by the item the woman handed to him, a low-grade purple magic crystal. The man knew well that after reaching level 20, this kind of thing was an extremely rare existence. When a player reaches level 20, the combination function will be unlocked. Using it, one can combine weapons with magic crystals and also assign other options. There are 7 colors of magic crystals: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, dark blue, and purple. Red is for damage. Orange represents strength. Yellow increases luck. Green increases the agility attribute. Blue increases intelligence. And dark blue reduces damage. Finally, this purple magic crystal is the rarest of all crystals. Its appearance rate is the lowest. The purple crystal can increase all stats. It's very fortunate to obtain such a rare item. The man then thought of his butcher runes attribute. Killing a target also increased his stats. Even in real life, insects could be targets. There were no insects in the virtual space, so he had no choice. But in real life, there were plenty of insects. He immediately eliminated the insects in the bag. Then, a system prompt popped up. The man looked at the status window. At this rate, he thought there would be a good result. The man then took out a random gold pouch. With a boost from Julie's blessing skill, his luck value reached its peak. He opened a random gold pouch without hesitation. Based on past experience, the amount of gold from each pouch ranged from 3,000 to 6,000. The next second, the man was particularly shocked by the gold he received. The woman's simple blessing skill allowed the man to get the maximum amount of gold. With a flash of golden light, the next second, the man's eyes widened. He actually got the maximum of 9,999 gold coins. This blessing skill is really useful. The man looked at the balance in his status window. This amount of gold could buy an epic grade item. That night, the man opened a shop. In this game, as long as you have gold, you can freely buy items or common skills. Although their quality is all common grade, it doesn't mean there's no way to buy rare, epic items. The shop sells rotating random items. Normally, it's hard to buy the item you want because you don't know which items are useful. But this was obviously not a problem for the man, because he knew exactly what would happen in the future. However, today was the day the epic item he needed refreshed. The skull necklace, an equipment that could increase intelligence and attack speed. It seems it's time to use the half-price coupon he got after successfully changing his class. After using the coupon to buy the desired equipment, he still had a lot of gold left over. The man originally thought of using the remaining gold to complete an equipment set. If he saved another 6,000 gold after this, he could buy a common skill. Obviously, a common skill was much better than ordinary equipment. As time passed, the third round of the game quietly arrived. This time, everyone was teleported to another strange location. A brilliant crystal appeared in the center of the space. Facing a strange environment, everyone was very anxious, mostly out of fear of the unknown. Everyone soon spotted Documentary in the crowd. They didn't seem too afraid of the area commander because they knew he only had 10 uses of his commander's authority, and Documentary had used force to intimidate them. So many people didn't really approve of his abilities. Faced with everyone's comments, Documentary flew into a rage on the spot. He pointed at the crowd, spouting his meaningless trash talk. He had long guessed this would happen. It was all because that damn angel explained everything. The next second, Huang Yongmin appeared beside Documentary and immediately bowed to greet him. Faced with Huang Yongmin's friendly gesture, Documentary asked what was going on. Huang Yongmin stated his request. He wanted to join Documentary's gang. What kind of guy is this, wanting to become a gang member? Huang Yongmin then explained that Documentary was his idol and he really wanted to join their gang. He then knelt on both knees, begging Documentary to take him as a subordinate. Faced with such a crazy Huang Yongmin, Documentary revealed a sinister smile. He was starting to like this young man. Faced with the crowd's mockery, Huang Yongmin acted dismissively. He didn't care about others' opinions. The man watched the scene before him. Birds of a feather really do flock together. Fortunately, the course of events had not deviated. The next second, the angel appeared above the crowd and slowly spoke. The number of people this time is 90 fewer than those who advanced from the last round. It seems you weren't very peaceful in the real world either. I'm glad to see you fighting amongst yourselves. She then announced the mission for the third round of the game. Protect the crystal for 3 hours. At this moment, everyone looked at the status window in front of them. They saw that the number of people who would pass this time was sharply reduced to a quarter. They asked the angel if there was a problem with the data statistics. Faced with everyone's questions, the angel laughed loudly. In each round of the game, half of the population survives. But you must remember, you had no casualties in the second round of the game. So the number for this round is reasonable. Next, I will explain the situation for the third round. Monsters will appear from the 4 city gates every 30 minutes. Their target is the crystal in the center of the village. During this process, there will be a total of 5 waves of monsters. Your goal is to protect the crystal in the center of the village from being destroyed. If the crystal remains safe for 3 hours, you will receive an extra reward. If the crystal is destroyed, you will receive a severe penalty. Also, regardless of whether you protect the crystal, you will also be ranked according to the number of monsters you catch. Due to the nature of this round, more monsters than usual may appear, but their strength will also be 1/3 weaker than usual. Of course, this also means the experience and gold you get will be reduced accordingly. I almost forgot. The one chosen as commander in the last round was Life is a Documentary. From this round on, you can use the commander's authority. But if the commander dies midway, whether killed by a monster or another person's attack, the position will be transferred accordingly. If killed by another player, then the killer can take his place and exercise the commander's authority, gaining 10 command rights. The rules are explained. The first wave of monsters will arrive in 10 minutes. I wish you all good cooperation and survival in the next 3 hours. Hearing the angel's explanation, Documentary was furious to the extreme. Everyone else, however, looked eager to try. The next second, the man slowly walked up to Documentary. Documentary's heart was pounding with panic at this moment. He asked what he wanted. The man said lightly, "Don't be nervous. I just want to talk to you. You should know that your situation right now is very dangerous. So, how about I protect you?" He, who once bowed and scraped to become a subordinate, now threw a punch directly at the boss's face. After the man said he could protect Documentary, Documentary was stunned by the sudden words and stood frozen on the spot. Then the man spoke slowly. "From now on, I will protect you one-on-one. That way, other players won't be able to attack you." Hearing this, everyone was dumbfounded, because that would mean they would have to face Black Scythe. Unlike with Documentary, they were very much aware of Black Scythe's strength. Of course, the price is that you must obey all my commands. And you must accept my commands unconditionally. That is my condition. Faced with the man's condition, Documentary couldn't accept becoming the man's subordinate, bowing and scraping. He immediately rejected the man's proposal. The man knew how things would go. Documentary wouldn't let go of his damn pride. "Very well, since you've rejected my proposal, your life or death has nothing to do with me." The crowd was delighted to see Documentary's refusal and began plotting in their minds how to deal with him. Hearing the man's words, Documentary's face became extremely grim. At the same time, a system prompt appeared. The first wave of attack has begun. Protect the crystal with all your might. The second wave of monsters will attack in 30 minutes. A countdown immediately began. Documentary was calculating in his mind. He obviously couldn't stick with people who weren't on his side. His eyes then swept over the man's back, and he quietly followed behind him. Watching the man's path, he thought, does he intend to guard a path all by himself? At the same time, another system prompt appeared. Players, 4,900. Weakened goblins, 9,800. Due to the nature of the round, the monster's strength has been weakened by 1/3. We wish you success. Faced with this situation, Documentary decided to hide first and observe the battle before making a choice. The next second, facing the frantic attack of a horde of goblins, the man directly swung his death scythe. These monsters couldn't even withstand a single blow from the man's attack. Documentary watched the incredibly valiant Black Scythe. He knew he had to find a way to improve his own strength. He soon joined the fierce battle. Documentary had a rune that could detect the movements of enemies, so this was an easy task for him. At the same time, an arrow shot towards Documentary. While Documentary was still fuming, a long spear pierced his waist. Faced with the sudden attack, Documentary immediately counterattacked, directly finishing off the player who had ambushed him. The player who shot the arrow at him was also quickly dealt with. At this moment, Documentary understood. What worried him more than the monsters were the sudden attacks from other players. It was all because of this damn area commander title. If he could choose again, he would rather not be this area commander. He began to devise a safe hunting method that wouldn't require him to worry about player attacks. He then spotted the third-ranked player in the region among the fighting crowd and immediately used his commander's authority to make that player protect him. The scene changes. The man's battle triggered the passive skill of the skull necklace. As a series of system sounds rang out, the man looked at his status window. He had already earned nearly 2,000 gold. At this rate, he would soon be able to save up 20,000 gold. But the man was not satisfied with this. He needed more gold to buy skills. Then he would get that mind rune. At the same time, another group of monsters launched an attack on the man. The man once again swung his death scythe. At the same time, a system prompt appeared. Successfully defended against the first wave of attack. Remaining players, 3,933. As a reward, surviving players will receive 500 gold. The crowd continuously launched attacks on Documentary, but relying on his commander skill, he made them act as human shields to protect him. This allowed him to survive the first wave of attack. Even without using the commander's authority on Huang Yongmin, that guy was still protecting Documentary. At this moment, he was bleeding profusely. He had to grit his teeth and survive until the end. Then, the second wave of attack began. The man continued to slaughter these magical beasts as usual. At the same time, a system prompt appeared. You have leveled up to level 20. Your rank has also been promoted from silver to gold. The combination function has been unlocked. Level 20 means you can use the combination function to create unique items that cannot be obtained in the shop. Death Insignia. With the promotion in rank, its attributes have also increased. The exclusive skill, Knight of Death, has been engraved. As your level reached 20, the attributes of the Death Insignia increased to 120. He also learned a new skill. Knight of Death has a complementary effect with the Reaper rune. Facing another magical beast charging at him, the man chuckled lightly. Then let me give you a taste of my newly learned skill. The next second, as darkness enveloped them, all the monsters were wiped out by the man. Soon, the second wave also came to an end. Taking advantage of the break, the man bought a common skill, presence detection. Using this skill, he could detect all targets within 300 meters. In the following time, the group successfully defended against the third wave of attack. When the fourth wave of monsters arrived, the number of players had dropped to 3,001. The number of monsters was 6,002. At this moment, Documentary had used up all his commander's authority. With the start of the fifth wave of attack, the number of players decreased to 2,700. The number of monsters was a staggering 10,800. Documentary was now struggling to cope, facing the siege of monsters and the crowd. Documentary fled in a panic and immediately came to the man's side. He wanted to accept the man's proposal and have him protect him. Facing Documentary at this moment, the man refused on the spot. I said your life or death has nothing to do with me. Obviously, I don't need a useless person with no command authority. The crowd looked eager to try. At the same time, Huang Yongmin appeared in front of the crowd, claiming he would protect Documentary. Hearing this, Documentary was very happy. But to his surprise, Huang Yongmin threw a punch directly at Documentary. The crystal relic that the players were desperately protecting was being destroyed by the man using the commander's authority, because the man knew well that only by breaking the crystal would the hidden mission be triggered. Just as Huang Yongmin suddenly punched Documentary. Faced with the sudden attack, Documentary was stunned on the spot. Then, countless frantic fists rained down on Documentary. Only then did he understand. It turned out Huang Yongmin was using his trust to stab him in the back at a critical moment, winning his favor with a humble attitude only to wait for an opportunity. What a despicable and shameless villain. Unfortunately, he was already seriously injured and couldn't resist Huang Yongmin's backstabbing at all. A system prompt appeared. Area Commander Life is a Documentary has died. The commander's authority will be transferred. Huang Yongmin becomes the new area commander of this region, granted the rights of the area commander. At this, Huang Yongmin revealed his sinister smile. Now he could control others as he pleased. The crowd looked at Huang Yongmin, who had killed Documentary with his bare hands, and felt a trace of fear. At the same time, they were also talking about the scene where Huang Yongmin had knelt at the beginning. Facing such a sinister character, this was clearly more difficult than dealing with Documentary. Thus, everyone began to scheme for themselves. Becoming the new area commander meant that Huang Yongmin's personal safety would be in great danger. But he had obviously considered the stakes and already had a preliminary plan in mind. At this moment, he quickly approached the man. Documentary had been abandoned earlier because he no longer held the commander's authority. He then said to the man that he had become the new area commander and possessed the commander's authority. He expressed his acceptance of the man's proposal. In other words, he would accept all of the man's demands. The condition was to guarantee his personal safety. The man, however, nonchalantly uttered a sentence, expressing his great dislike for Huang Yongmin's actions. If you kneel and beg me, I might consider it. Huang Yongmin clearly hadn't expected the man's words. He immediately responded, unable to understand why the man would make such a barbaric demand when he held all the commander's authority. The man replied faintly, "So what? You know your own situation. You're the one in danger. not me. If you want my protection, then kneel and beg. At this moment, Huang Yongmin was extremely embarrassed. Facing everyone's gazes, in the next second, he knelt on his worthless knees. He then chimed in, saying he would obey the man's orders and requested the man to take him as a subordinate. The man was clearly tired of such scenes, but thinking of what needed to be done next, which required the commander's authority in Huang Yongmin's hands, he immediately agreed to his proposal. Everyone couldn't believe the ridiculous scene before them. If Black Scythe protected Huang Yongmin's safety, there was nothing they could do, because they had seen the man face the attacks of countless monsters. He was a completely invincible existence. The man then gave everyone two choices. 1. Give up the right to become the area commander, quietly hunt some magical beasts in this round, and then return to reality safely. 2. Become a lost soul under the man's scythe. If possible, I recommend you choose the first option. But the latter is also a good choice, because he didn't want to see people holding knives in front of him. At this moment, facing such a dominant Black Scythe, everyone instantly lost their ambition to be the area commander. They all chose to leave. Watching this scene, Huang Yongmin was very happy. Just a few words were enough to make people shrink back in fear. As an enemy, he was ruthless, but as an ally, he provided a great sense of security. After this turmoil, the signs of battle on the battlefield gradually began to cease. Soon, they would be able to successfully defend against the fifth wave of monster attacks. However, this was clearly not the ending the man wanted. If the game ended just like this, it would be so boring. The man immediately gave an order to Huang Yongmin. Use the commander's authority and shatter the crystal in the center of the city. Faced with the man's words, Huang Yongmin stood there, stunned. Shatter the crystal? He clearly remembered the angel's words. If the crystal was destroyed, they would suffer a severe penalty. But Huang Yongmin had no choice but to do it, because he needed to survive under Black Scythe's protection. The man then read out the nicknames of the players to be controlled and ordered them to shatter the crystal. Immediately after, Huang Yongmin used the commander's authority and successfully controlled the players on the list to shatter the crystal. At the same time, a system notification appeared. Warning, the crystal is being destroyed. Everyone was extremely shocked by this, because what they saw wasn't monsters attacking the crystal, but players themselves attacking the crystal. For this reason, everyone desperately tried to stop the players' destructive actions against the crystal. At this time, the system again sent out a notification. The crystal has been destroyed. Main mission failed. As a penalty for mission failure, the Agent of Divine Punishment will be summoned. Players must survive the attacks of the Agent of Divine Punishment. This round's mission will only end when the time is up. The duration is 30 minutes. Successful defense will be rewarded with 3,000 gold coins. At this moment, the man looked at the notification from the status window and revealed a faint smile, because only he knew that only by shattering the crystal would a hidden mission be triggered. With just a simple sneak attack, the man took out one of the Agent of Divine Punishment's eyes. When the system displayed the hidden mission, everyone was very happy, because the reward for successfully defending the crystal was 2,000 gold coins. But shattering the crystal could earn a reward of 3,000 gold coins. This was clearly more valuable. At the same time, the system displayed another notification. Confirm player attack on the crystal relic. The 10 players who attack the relic will be penalized. A permanent 50 decrease in all stats. The controlled players were exceptionally furious about this. The blame was pointed directly at Huang Yongmin, the area commander, because the commander had ordered them to destroy the crystal. For failing to protect the crystal relic from destruction, the area commander will be penalized. Also, a permanent 50 decrease in all stats. Hearing this, Huang Yongmin could only face the wall, expressing the dissatisfaction in his heart. The reduction in all stats was directly related to his own strength. This would affect his future survival. This was clearly very fatal. Meanwhile, the man was making pre-battle adjustments for the fight with the Agent of Divine Punishment. He used his remaining gold coins to buy a helmet and boots from the shop. He had to seize the opportunity for even a minor stat increase. After buying the equipment, he opened the combination function. The skull necklace was combined with a magic stone. As the status window for a successful combination popped up, the skull necklace gained +1 to all stats. Afterward, the man combined each piece of equipment with a magic stone. The leather armor was enhanced with a +1 damage reduction effect. The Reaper's Scythe was enhanced with +2 strength. Although the lowest grade magic stones didn't provide a significant stat boost, it was better than nothing. The scene changes. Everyone in the square clearly showed worried expressions about the upcoming battle. At this time, the man was also lost in thought. In all the battles against divine punishment the man had experienced, none were easy to get through. In the man's memory, only 500 out of 2,700 people survived. In terms of survival alone, it was clearly hell-level difficulty. The original agent of divine punishment was an existence that required 5 level 40 players just to hold it off. But even so, the man wanted to kill it to obtain a huge reward. Because the man possessed the Angel Slayer title, all his stats would be doubled when facing God-type battles. At this moment, the agent of divine punishment descended into the sky above the center of the square. Everyone was still discussing countermeasures, planning to escape to avoid the divine punishment. The next second, the agent of divine punishment plunged its scepter into the floor. The players within the area were enveloped in a blue light. Along with a system notification, the agent of divine punishment released a restriction field. Unless the agent of divine punishment lifts the field's restriction, no one can escape. Players within the field will have their stats reduced by 50. This time, the field contained about 300 players. The man looked at the players in the field with regret, because he was clearly powerless to do anything about it. At the same time, the agent of divine punishment directly unleashed a volley of 10,000 swords. It was a slaughter with no blind spots in all directions. It was almost impossible for the players in the field to dodge the attacks. But if you could dodge the attacks, you would survive. Just as everyone was concentrating on dodging the attacks, the man was preparing to sneak attack the agent of divine punishment from behind. As expected, the agent of divine punishment paid no attention to its back. There was no need to worry about it discovering the man's movements, because the agent of divine punishment had no ears. While the man was waiting for the field to disappear, he directly cast the seal of death on the agent of divine punishment and directly swung the death scythe at its back. The man needed to land a fatal blow on the first attack, just as the agent of divine punishment noticed something was wrong and tried to block. But the man's scythe had already been swung. It directly caused damage to its eye. Because of the damage boost from the seal of death, now, the divine punishment stamina was only at 60. Taking out 40 of its stamina in one attack was clearly not too bad. The man knew well that the divine punishment's next attack would definitely be to release a field to control his movements. But once it discovered there were no targets in the field, it would expand the field's range. Now, the man's attack had taken out one of the agent of divine punishment's eyes. The next attack would be to take out its other eye as well. Even with his stats lowered in the agent of divine punishment's field, it clearly didn't matter. A divine punishment with no eyes would just be a punching bag in the man's hands. As the agent of divine punishment once again unleashed a volley of 10,000 swords, the man directly unleashed Night of Death. Light cannot defeat darkness, because that is how the order of this space was established. Then let's end all of this. The man simply cut off the head of the divine emissary and obtained a legendary item for crafting divine artifacts. Just as the man unleashed Night of Death against the divine punishment, in just an instant, he severed the divine punishment's wings. With another strike of Night of Death, the other wing fell to the ground. Now, the divine punishment stamina had reached 10. The man knew well the agent of divine punishment's final counterattack and frantically dashed into the distance. At the same time, the agent of divine punishment's passive skill, Final Radiance, was triggered. The agent of divine punishment now became an invincible existence. The man knew well that after the agent of divine punishment's stamina reached 10, if he couldn't deal a fatal blow, he would be unable to damage it. At this moment, countless void black holes appeared around the agent of divine punishment. The purple magic power generated from the black holes launched an attack towards the man's position. The agent of divine punishment's radiation attack wave would last for 50 seconds. At this moment, the man was constantly dodging. As the countdown stopped, the agent of divine punishment's invincibility period also disappeared. Following the man's soft chuckle, in the next second, the man dashed towards the agent of divine punishment like lightning. He instantly appeared by its side. The man brandished his death scythe and directly unleashed Night of Death. With the fall of a single slash, The divine punishment's head fell to the ground. At the same time, the system frantically displayed notifications. You have killed the agent of divine punishment, and continuously displayed level up pop-ups. Gold plus 8,200. Bonus gold 4,000. Confirmed you are the first player to kill the divine emissary. Obtained the Poser of Divine Punishment title. Received the first kill reward for the divine punishment. Concentrated essence. Received Rune of Radiance as a reward. The acquired rune has been automatically inscribed on the player. Just as the man had thought, he had obtained the concentrated essence. The concentrated essence condenses into an essence that emits a rainbow-like color from different angles. The most important thing about killing the divine punishment was obtaining this, because concentrated essence is a material for crafting god-tier items. More importantly, he got the Rune of Radiance he wanted. For every level gained, it increases intelligence by 1 point and enhances divinity effects by 1. In other words, the man was now level 30. The Rune of Radiance would increase his intelligence by 30 points, and the effects of god-type skills would be enhanced by 30. The man let out a satisfied smile at this, as the system successfully distributed the submission rewards. At this moment, everyone was still grateful to be alive in this virtual space, but they felt a deep sense of awe towards Blackscythe's ability to single-handedly slay the divine punishment. At the same time, they looked at Blackscythe as if he were a monster. Meanwhile, the angel appeared in the sky above everyone. The angel looked at the previous scene and slowly began to speak. Player who single-handedly killed the divine emissary. You are the strongest player I have ever seen. How did you think of killing the agent of divine punishment? Facing the angel's question, the man just sighed softly. The reason I killed that agent of divine punishment was simply because I wanted to kill it. At this, the angel clearly didn't believe the man's words, because one could get a reward just by enduring the punishment. But why choose to eliminate it instead? To this, the man responded, I just didn't want to endure its slaughter. Hearing the man's words, everyone cast grateful gazes at him. Because of him, they had avoided the fate of death. Faced with the man's answer, the angel fell into deep thought. She had heard some very strange statements. Humans who were fighting fiercely 1 second could live together in harmony the next, as if nothing had ever happened. For her, an angel, such behavior was difficult to understand. She then said to the crowd, you were able to survive the punishment of the agent of divine punishment. That was obviously very lucky, but it's too early to relax, because it still depends on your overall performance. So, let's look at the overall results. Immediately after, the results of the third round popped up. Blackscythe ranked first with 3,600 magical beasts killed. Faced with such an insane score, everyone was secretly speechless. Truly a monster who eats people without spitting out the bones. At the same time, another system notification appeared. Congratulations on achieving first place in the entire region. The all-region reward is a special reward selection chest. The area reward will be a rare ring exchange coupon, Ring of Yang Power, or based on past experience. The man chose the ring with a seemingly weak title, the Ring of Resistance. The man knew well that no matter how high a player's stats were, status effects could still wipe them out. More importantly, resistance cannot be increased through stats, so it's best to have resistance capabilities, even if you don't need it right now. Immediately after, the man opened the all-region reward chest. Just as the man had expected, there was no 3x reward buff in this round's rewards. After all, the fourth round's mission wasn't a monster-catching mission. So the man chose the 24,000 gold coin reward. At this moment, the angel spoke in an especially cold voice. You've all checked your rankings in the status window, haven't you? The final passing rank is 1225. At this, everyone immediately began to panic. The next second, with a snap of the angel's fingers, players who did not reach rank 1225 vanished within the virtual space. After this mission, 1,225 players remained surviving in the region. The scene changes. Su Yalan appeared in real life. She was very glad she had survived the third round's pursuit. This wasn't the only thing that made her happy. She had successfully changed her class in the game, with Su Yalan's utterance of an elf summon. The next second, a small bird appeared. Thanks to the protection of her bodyguard and the elf, she was able to survive the third round. Incredibly, she had actually placed third. A magic stone. At this moment, she was pondering in her heart. If I give the magic stone to Black Scythe, will he like it? The scene changes. Huang Youmin was seen smashing a table lamp to pieces. He had received a 50 decrease in all his stats. He was furious about this. If he had known he would receive such a penalty, he would not have ordered the crystal's destruction. At this moment, he was seen picking up his phone. He was well aware of the consequences for himself. He thought he was finished. There are many ways to obtain runes in the game. They can be found in specific places during specific rounds. They can also be obtained as rewards dropped by bosses. But runes can also be obtained in real life. However, the conditions for their appearance are obviously very strict. Just as Huang Yongmin received a call from a friend in real life, the person on the other end cursed him out and stated that from now on, whether in the real or virtual world, their friendship was over. If they were to meet again, it would only be as enemies. Because earlier in the game, Huang Yongmin had used his commander's authority on his friend. Huang Yongmin was also full of anger about this. He threw his phone directly onto the bed. The scene changes. The bodyguard had once again come to Ma Jinglu's residence. After reporting some daily information, the bodyguard had also successfully changed his class in the game. He successfully changed class to a knight. Su Yaoan, on the other hand, changed class to a summoner. Thanks to the shield generated by the elf she summoned, he was able to hunt within a safe area. He then apologized to Ma Jinglu because he had not provided aid to Black Scythe. After all, the divine emissary was too powerful. But Black Scythe seemed to know the divine punishment's weakness. He exploited its weakness to slay the divine punishment. A figure like that clearly didn't need help from someone like him. Ma Jinglu did not show any anger about this, because the enemy they faced was, after all, too powerful. He then asked the bodyguard for information about those thugs. The bodyguard stated that after screening, 5 people matched the name, but it still required time for confirmation. He then reported the company's situation to Ma Jinglu. In a sudden development, 31 of Tianma Company's shares were acquired by an individual. For a company with a market value of 900 billion, 280 billion was directly used for the equity acquisition. Ma Jinglu showed a very interested expression at this. After getting the other party's phone number, he dialed it. The person who answered the call was none other than the man. Ma Jinglu expressed an extremely friendly greeting to the financial backer and wanted to invite him for a simple dinner. After setting a time, he hung up the phone. The scene changes. At this moment, the man appeared in the corner of a warehouse. The man knew well that this location was where a rune would spawn. He knew that Zhang Shixian would soon appear here. It was a name the man could never forget, because he was the criminal who had kidnapped his younger brother in his past life. The reason he remembered him so vividly was that he possessed the inner thoughts rune. He could clearly know the fact that the man was a regressor. Ever since regressing 11 times, the man had been looking for a chance to get revenge on Zhang Shixian. The reason for his revenge was to get the inner thoughts rune before he did. Today was the day the rune would appear. At this time, Zhang Shixian appeared in the warehouse. He then began to intimidate and threaten the girl. Ever since Zhang Shixian obtained the flash rune in the game, the flash rune could make his body glow and could blind his opponents. Afterward, he began doing all sorts of evil things in real life, because this satisfied his evil desires. Today, he was once again making a move on a young girl. At the same time, the man appeared behind him and warned Zhang Shixian not to make any rash moves. At this moment, Zhang Shixian was clearly shocked by the newcomer, but after a moment, he let down his guard. He spoke to the man with all sorts of frivolous words. Faced with this situation, in the next second, the man charged directly at Zhang Shixian. He delivered an especially fierce blow directly to his crotch. Zhang Shixian instantly knelt on the ground, wailing. Seeing this, the woman fled the warehouse as if escaping for her life. At this moment, the man slowly began to speak. Since there are no outsiders, our game can officially begin. Afterward, Zhang Shixian frantically launched an attack on the man. To this, the man dodged his attack with just a simple evasion. Seeing that his attack was fruitless, he decisively used the flash rune. The skill, which had never failed him, had no effect on the man, because the man had Night of Death. Light cannot penetrate darkness. The man then swung his scythe. In an instant, Zhang Shishuan's 4 limbs were cut off by him. If not for the enhancement of Night of Death, the one whose limbs were cut off would have been the man. The man's purpose in torturing Zhang Shishuan was to obtain the inner thoughts rune. After his limbs were cut off by the man, because of the constant pain coming from his body, Zhang Shishuan begged the man to put him out of his misery. At the same time, a system notification appeared. Completed a hidden mission. Extracted Voice of Truth from the target's body. Discovered the inner thoughts rune. The rune will be placed in a specific location. The acquired rune will be automatically inscribed on the player. The inner thoughts rune can read the true thoughts of the target in front of you. After obtaining the rune, the man used the Erase Traces skill and erased all traces here. Since he had obtained the rune he wanted, it was time to meet Ma Jinglu tomorrow. The man merely became a director of the company, yet he shocked everyone present, because the power the man possessed was a rune that could foresee the entire future. The time to meet with Ma Jinglu soon arrived. For this, the man put on a suit. As he was leaving, he reminded his younger brother to be careful. As the game progressed, more and more players were using their superpowers to commit crimes. As time went on, humans of the right age would also become players one after another. Future players would only become stronger. Society would become turbulent. In the end, this era would become the domain of players. So the man had to obtain overwhelming power and increase the prestige of Black Scythe. The scene changes. The man arrived at a hotel. In fact, this was Ma Jinglu's subsidiary company. For this, the man decided to put on a suitable disguise. He very nervously told the front desk that he was here for an appointment, trying his best to show his apprehension and ignorance. After waiting for a while, the bodyguard came to the lobby. Upon seeing the man, he felt he looked very familiar. For this, the bodyguard apologized for his reckless behavior that day. At the same time, he wondered how such a young man could actually invest a huge sum of 280 billion. He was suspicious about this. While waiting, he reported the current situation. Afterward, Ma Jinglu appeared in the private room. After a simple exchange of pleasantries, he invited the man to dinner. Looking at the man's young face and demeanor, Ma Jinglu also thought it was impossible for the man to have so much capital. There must be someone supporting him from behind. To this end, Ma Jinglu subtly probed the man. The man, however, frankly revealed the origin of the funds. I was the person from the widely circulated rumors who won the lottery. Afterward, I invested the funds in a cryptocurrency. And finally, I invested in Ma Jinglu's company. For such a bold gamble, Ma Jinglu also felt admiration, because he didn't have the courage to go all in with all his funds. And he congratulated the man on his heaven-defying luck. The man, however, explained that it wasn't luck, but that he had a rune, the future rune, a prophet who could see the future. To get Ma Jinglu on his side, he obviously had to make up something that would entice him. At this, Ma Jinglu and the bodyguard were both extremely shocked. Afterward, Ma Jinglu requested that the man demonstrate this ability to him. Although the man could read Ma Jinglu's thoughts, he didn't want to make a mistake because of it. He then used the excuse that the rune needed to cool down and refused Ma Jinglu's request. Since the man had the ability to predict the future, investing in his company meant it would appreciate in value. He immediately asked the man for the reason. The man gave the answer that the company would go public globally in half a year. Ma Jinglu was quite happy about this, because if that were the case, he would be able to gain his father's approval and obtain the position of chairman. However, the man's next words were to directly ask Ma Jinglu to change the business model and to rename it. Hearing this, the bodyguard immediately slammed the table to express his anger. Of course, asking the parent company to change its business model and name at the first meeting was obviously asking too much. To gain their trust, he had to offer some information. The man then told the bodyguard and Ma Jinglu about the 4th round's mission. The 4th round would not be about hunting monsters. Instead, there would be killing among players. The scene changes. The man appeared on a street. After the 4th round of the game, they will believe in my identity as a prophet. But he did not reveal more important information to the bodyguard and Ma Jinglu. That is, the side missions and the method for ranking. He thought that after the 4th mission, they would believe in me as a prophet and thus stand on my side. The scene changes. The man drove to the convenience store where Julie was. Julie was very surprised by the man's arrival. The man then explained to Julie that the lottery ticket wasn't something he dreamed of, but that he possessed the future rune. Hearing this, Julie also showed the man the rune she had obtained. The rune Julie obtained was the protection rune. A protective barrier would appear around her body. The number of barriers depends on the number of players within 10 meters. The number of people is the number of barriers. Hearing this, the man told Julie to be careful of the players around her, because you never know what they will do next. The scene changes. At this moment, the man was looking at a text message. He couldn't believe that Julie had always liked him. He had no idea about it all. At this moment, the man seemed a little flustered, but maybe this was for the better. This would make it easier for Julie to become an ally, and she would be more likely to believe his words. Time flew by. The 31st of the month quietly arrived. Before entering the virtual space, the man used his gold coins to buy an epic piece of equipment. Dark Shadow Gloves. Usage restriction, normal grade and above. Description, can become invisible with high stats when shrouded in the darkness of night. The translucent weapon option is also very useful. If it can be used in conjunction with the Knight of Death skill, the effect will be even better. The scene changes. The fourth round of the game began. At this time, Huang Yongmin was looking at his own stat panel. He was very angry about this. He still had 10 uses of the commander's authority left. He was planning how to use these 10 uses of authority to get through the fourth round smoothly. He had to be constantly on guard against sneak attacks from others, or wanton revenge from his friends. In addition, he also felt uneasy facing the new and unfamiliar environment. He then saw Black Scythe in the crowd, the one who made him use his authority to destroy the crystal, and then unhesitatingly slayed the divine punishment. If he had absolute power right now, he would not hesitate to beat the man until he doubted his own existence. However, this was clearly unrealistic. He still needed Black Scythe's protection. At the same time, he quickly moved towards Black Scythe and said to the man, "Mr. Black Scythe, our agreement from the last round is still valid, right? If I become your subordinate, you will protect my safety." However, the man just chuckled softly. "I don't need a subordinate like you." As the game progresses, most players have changed their classes, and your commander's authority will become very useless. It's not of much use to me. You have no value to be exploited. Now you're just a walking target. Hearing this, Huang Yongmin was instantly stunned on the spot. An unremarkable black gold power stone is actually the rarest existence in the game. Wanting to obtain one is like trying to pluck the stars from the sky. Just after the man rejected Huang Yongmin's request, Huang Yongmin was instantly stunned on the spot. However, the man then comforted him. As the game progresses, the position of area commander no longer holds much allure. After all, players know that being the area commander is a hot potato. Plus, most players have changed their classes. Since there's no benefit, there won't be much danger. At this moment, Su Yaoan and the bodyguard were seen walking towards the man. They once again expressed their gratitude to Black Scythe. The bodyguard also expressed Ma Jinglu's thanks on his behalf. However, the man was clearly not interested in this and interrupted the bodyguard's words. Meanwhile, Su Yaoan took out a crystal item, explaining that this was a token of her sincerity. The man was visibly stunned as he looked at the crystal in Su Yaoan's hand. It was actually a purple crystal. Su Yaoan believed that verbal gratitude wasn't as practical as giving an item. For the man, there was obviously no reason to refuse such a good item. So he pocketed it, planning to try combining it with a weapon after returning to reality. Looking at the adoring expressions on their faces, it was clear they were clueless about the value of these stones. Huang Yongmin gazed at the crystal in the man's hand and murmured. He also had a stone like this. However, his stone was named Black Gold Power Stone. At the same time, the man was particularly shocked. The Black Gold Power Stone was a reward dropped from capturing monsters, and it had an extremely low drop rate. It was an item even harder to purchase than a purple crystal. Wanting to obtain one during a round was like trying to pluck stars from the sky. Knowing about both stones at the same time was truly good luck. Following that, Su Yaoan asked the man if he needed a protective shield. Su Yaoan had changed her class to a summoner in the last game. If he needed it, she could summon a spirit to protect him. The man clearly didn't need it and directly refused her kind offer. Hearing this, Su Yaoan and her bodyguard once again expressed their thanks to the man, then disappeared into the crowd. Seeing that Huang Yongmin was also about to leave, the man immediately stopped him and began to mentally hypnotize him. As a walking target, you will attract unnecessary trouble. He then said he could protect him just like in the last round, but it would come at a small price. However, Huang Yongmin thought what the man had just said made a lot of sense. As the game progressed, the advantage of being an area commander was not as obvious as before, so the danger index wasn't too high. But after another round of PUA from the man, Huang Yongmin walked right into the trap he had set. As a condition, he had to give that stone as payment. He immediately and happily agreed, took it out from the item window, and handed it to Black Scythe. The man then asked if he had any other items. Huang Yongmin immediately stared at the man as if he were a thief. At the same time, the angel appeared in the sky. Then it slowly began to speak. Since everyone has arrived, let's begin our fourth game. Kill the other side within 3 hours. That's right, it's the literal meaning of what you see. In other words, reduce the number of players through mutual slaughter. Unlike the previous rounds, no monsters will appear in this game. At this moment, a player raised a question. Since only half of the players can survive, does that mean we only need to kill one player? However, the angel replied that it was a secret. It wouldn't be fun if everything was transparent. In this virtual space, the angel is merely a guide. Someone else is controlling the game. The angel then explained that simply killing players does not make one a survivor. Only 521 players can survive this round. As for the ranking criteria, that is a secret. Killing players quickly will not make you number one. The rules have been explained. Now, let our mutual slaughter begin. A countdown timer then started. While everyone was still confused, Huang Yongmin revealed a sinister smile. After all, he had been looking forward to this moment for a long time. With Black Scythe's protection, he could also kill other players. This was clearly an invincible setup. At the same time, the man suddenly appeared beside Huang Yongmin, startling him. The man then explained, "Didn't I say I protect you? I'm here to honor our agreement." He then drew his Crimson Death Scythe. The next second, the Death Scythe launched an attack on Huang Yongmin. The man just swung his scythe and killed the area commander, but it triggered a hidden mission in the game. Because the man knew this round well, and only by doing this could he get the item he wanted. The moment the man drew his Death Scythe, he directly launched an attack on Huang Yongmin. As Huang Yongmin fell to the ground, a system prompt sounded. Player has triggered a hidden mission. Dispose of the area commander within the time limit. Hidden mission completed. Reward: lowest grade magic stone, draw soul card. You can randomly obtain 1 to 5 lowest grade magic stones, but there is a time limit. If you enter the next round, the item will disappear. This item is affected by rank level and luck stats. The man looked at his status window and showed a faint smile because this was exactly the reward he wanted to get. The man killed Huang Yongmin to obtain the reward for the 4th round's hidden mission, although it also involved a grudge from past life. At the same time, the crowd was exceptionally shocked as they watched Huang Yongmin fall. Someone then pointed to Black Scythe as the culprit. The shock turned into condemnation of Black Scythe, and he was even called a murderer by the crowd. The man just smiled faintly at the crowd's words. In the previous round, they were playing the role of wanting to become the area commander, but now they were putting on a sanctimonious front. It was actually a bit cute. But as for being called a murderer, the man had indeed killed many players. From Zhang Xishuan at the very beginning to clearing the 20th round, the man had indeed killed countless players during this period. But the man had never killed without reason. More importantly, to pass this round, one had to kill whether they liked it or not, because those are the rules of this round. They should have all understood this from the angel's earlier speech, but now they were directing their blame directly at Black Scythe. That was because they wanted to use this incident to pull Black Scythe down from his pedestal. After all, they knew Black Scythe's strength was too overwhelming. But if they acted as a group, they clearly had more advantages. In that case, even Black Scythe shouldn't be able to do anything. The crowd thought they had grasped the key point, but in the man's eyes, it was utterly ridiculous. Just as the crowd was denouncing Black Scythe, a system prompt sounded. Black Scythe has become the new area commander. Hearing this, everyone was terrified. The crowd that had been clamoring just a moment ago suddenly became much quieter. It seemed there were players among them who had not changed their class. This was equivalent to giving the most powerful weapon to the strongest player. Thus, a long-awaited silence fell. At the same time, the nickname above Blackside's head turned red. Because in this round, if you kill a player, your nickname will turn red. The more players you kill, the deeper the color becomes. The color of a nickname is used to distinguish between players who have killed and those who have not. In this round, players will usually team up to kill those with red nicknames, rather than innocent players. After all, only by doing this can their hypocritical consciences feel less troubled. But those who kill other players will also become murderers. The final result will be a large-scale, mutual slaughter. From an overall game strategy perspective, this was clearly intended to make the situation more chaotic. The man then slowly spoke to the crowd. The choice before you is simple. Either kill or be eliminated. So please, take off your hypocritical masks and face the rules of this game clearly. All players are selfish. When they hear that they will lose their lives, they will definitely make a choice. The man knew well that even without his words, it would eventually turn into a scene of mutual slaughter. But if the man didn't point out the stakes now, they would still waste time. In that case, the number of survivors in this round would decrease. The reason for doing this was also to allow more players to survive. Immediately after, a heated discussion broke out among the players. Su Yalin, looking at the previous scene, also asked her bodyguard, "Do they really have to kill people as Blacksize said? Of course. If we don't, we'll be killed. We shouldn't care about a stranger's life." The bodyguard completely agreed with what Blacksize said and also told Su Yalin to prepare herself mentally. After all, murder is not a pleasant experience. At the same time, just as everyone was in a heated discussion, Huang Yongmin sat up. Everyone was extremely shocked. At this moment, Huang Yongmin was still in a dazed state, because he only remembered talking to Blacksize just now. There was a hidden rule in this game. Killed players would be resurrected after 10 minutes. Looking at the resurrected Huang Yongmin, everyone gradually understood the mystery, and more conflicts subsequently arose. At the same time, they let down their guard and launched attacks on more players around them. He had just gone on a killing spree on the battlefield, which caused all his stats to be fully upgraded. Because he possessed the unparalleled absorption rune, not only could it help him successfully top the leaderboard, it could also continuously strengthen his stats. This was simply a stage tailor-made for him. After everyone figured out the rules, they started attacking the players around them. But the killed players did not revive on the spot. At this point, everyone started discussing. Then someone voiced their opinion. Killed players cannot revive quickly. After the area commander died just now, he also revived only after 10 minutes. They all responded affirmatively to this. Everyone prepared to see if this player could revive. 10 minutes passed quickly, and the woman revived as expected. After waking up, the woman immediately launched a verbal attack on the person who had attacked her. But the next second, the player who had attacked her before prepared to strike her again. But before his attack could land, another big man directly killed him. Looking at the scene, everyone was extremely shocked. Although the ability to revive was confirmed, they still had reservations about killing. However, as time passed, and with the atmosphere created by the surrounding players, all the players showed extremely frenzied behavior. The surrounding area was filled with endless, miserable screams and wails. At this moment, there were about 1,000 players fighting on the battlefield. This was basically a war zone created by those detestable higher-ups. At the same time, the man also decided to take action in the chaotic scene. Everywhere he went was instantly cleared by the swing of his scythe. A moment later, a vacuum appeared around him, but there were also players who boldly tried to sneak attack the man. However, he took them all on with a smile. Because the man had a reconnaissance skill, sneak attacks were obviously useless against him. At this moment, the man noticed the big man next to him. For the big man, it was no exaggeration to say that the rules of the fourth game were a stage tailor-made for him. Because for a player with an absorption rune, the benefits were quite considerable. At this moment, the nickname above his head was very conspicuous. He had already killed more than 10 players. The big man was immersed in an atmosphere of excitement. Killing players not only helped him get ranked, but also increased the progress of his rune's enhancement. The absorption rune would gain energy after killing an enemy. If the energy bar is filled, it will randomly increase a stat. However, the gain decreases based on the enemy's strength. Before, he only knew that killing monsters would increase his stats, but he didn't expect that killing players could also increase his stats. So he frantically launched attacks on the surrounding players. At this moment, the energy bar was rapidly increasing. He thought it was because the few players he killed were high level. At this moment, he began to fantasize. If he could kill Black Scythe, the energy bar would probably be filled. But he understood what kind of disaster he would suffer if he provoked a big shot. He then began to look for his next target. He held a lot of resentment towards Huang Yongmin because he had been under Huang Yongmin's control during the last round, which prevented him from killing any monsters. This round was a stage tailor-made for him. Others gained no benefit from killing him, but he could increase his rune stats. More importantly, the prey would continuously revive. So there was no more advantageous opportunity than now. At this moment, he was already in a killing frenzy. He had to increase his kill count as much as possible to get on the leaderboard. So he quickly searched for targets. At this moment, the man came to the big man's side. He directly summoned Night of the Dead. The sky instantly turned dark, and the surrounding players were shrouded in darkness. Black Scythe also became transparent. With a swing of the death scythe, the big man fell to the ground. The scene changes. At this moment, Huang Yongmin was looking around. The rules of this game made the corners of his mouth lift slightly. It also gave him a chance for revenge. He was going to kill every player he had a grudge against. At this moment, he discovered his friends in the crowd. He pretended to greet them very friendly, but the next second, he threw a punch at them. Kim Sung-han was sent flying to the ground by the immense force. The huge impact made him clutch his face. However, Huang Yongmin had no intention of letting him go, because he had once boasted that he would kill Huang Yongmin. After killing Kim Sung-han, it was time for him to find those dogs. The angel had merely announced the game rules, but it shocked everyone present, because this round was not simply ranked by the number of kills. Instead, one had to kill different players to get ranked. The man not only completed the hidden mission silently, but also became number one in the entire region because of it. The current battlefield was like a purgatory. The sounds of helplessness and pleading were endless. The place was filled with blood and madness. In this purgatory filled with killing intent for one another, Su Yalan couldn't calm down for a long time. What made her feel tired was not the physical soreness, but the dual mental restraints that were suffocating her. The bodyguard was clearly accustomed to such scenes, but he had to take Su Yalan's safety into account. If Su Yalan was psychologically traumatized because of the game, his future work would be affected. He had to ensure that this did not happen, otherwise he would have no face to meet Ma Jinglu's trust in him. At the same time, a hand directly grabbed the woman's hair. Just as the small knife was about to stab her neck, the bodyguard instantly appeared and intercepted it. He launched a counterattack against the assailant. At this moment, Su Yalan was scared out of her wits by the sudden attack. She clearly couldn't adapt to such a scene no matter what. She couldn't bear to see them die, but she would still listen to the bodyguard's words. After all, she had to choose to kill in order to survive. The bodyguard then said, "Miss Su Yalan, you have already killed 50 players. These kills are enough to get you on the leaderboard, so leave the rest to me." In response, the woman thanked the bodyguard. However, in the bodyguard's heart, he was the one who should be most grateful, because he could focus on enjoying the fruits of his labor without having to share his prey. The countdown had now reached 10 minutes. The man was continuously killing players. For the man, the fourth round was always very tiring. But he could not lose the reward for being first in the region. No matter what, he had to improve his abilities before the 20th round. Because he had never experienced the final boss showdown either, he had to make himself stronger unconditionally. In the man's eyes, players he had already killed were not worth his attention again. Because the rule of the fourth game was not simply to rank by recording the number of kills, but by killing different players. Repeatedly killing the same player would only be counted as one kill. So the man continuously weaved through the crowd, looking for different players. At the same time, the countdown reached 1 minute. The man had to speed up to find the next batch of players. But he wasn't sure if he had killed these people before. Since there wasn't much time left, he might as well just take them all. The next second, the man swung his death scythe at these players. Countless golden lights pierced through their bodies. At this moment, the angel appeared in the sky and then slowly spoke. "Did you have fun killing?" Everyone was very angry at this. Anyway, before we look at the statistics, let's revive them. The next second, all the fallen players woke up. After being revived, Kim Sung-han cursed Huang Yongmin's family. The angel was very displeased with their performance. quiet. If you don't shut up, then prepare to die. After calming the chaos, the angel prepared to announce the list. But before announcing the list, let's first look at the fourth round submission. Everyone was dumbfounded by this. They then saw the submission in the status window. Kill the area commander within the time limit. The reward would be a lowest grade magic crystal. Only one player in this region completed the submission, and that was Black Scythe. The players were very annoyed by this outcome. Huang Yo-min was clearly very shocked. He hadn't realized he had been killed, but seeing that he no longer had command, that damn Black Scythe. His mouth is full of righteousness and morality, but his actions are sanctimonious. His telling me not to become a target was just to take away his command. At the same time, the angel prepared to announce this round's list and to explain how this round was ranked. This round was ranked by killing different players. Even if you kill the same player, it only counts as one kill. With a snap of the angel's fingers, Black Scythe was ranked first in the entire region with 722 players killed, and he once again secured the top spot in the region. The man had maxed out all his stats at the beginning of the game, and with a 70 kill rate, he secured first place in the competition, not only shocking everyone present, but even the angel looked incredulous because the strength the man displayed was too terrifying. After the angel announced the list for the fourth game, everyone looked at Black Scythe, who had 722 kills, with disbelief. The guy actually killed over 70 of the players. He's truly a ruthless and cold-blooded monster. At the same time, a system prompt appeared. Congratulations on achieving first place in the entire region for this mission. The regional reward will be an intermediate armor exchange coupon. The all-region reward will be a special reward choice. The man was particularly happy looking at the intermediate armor exchange coupon he received, because it was just about time for him to replace his armor. He then chose the Blood Red Assassin's set armor. Following that, he opened the special chest, because the fifth game submission would have very good rewards, but the difficulty would be relatively high. Considering the difficulty level of the fifth game, the man chose the 50 stat buff reward. This would be a great help in clearing the fifth game. At this moment, the angel, having distributed the rewards, slowly spoke. Have you monkeys all seen your rankings clearly? Killing 30 players gets you rank 521. Players ranked lower than that will be destroyed. Following the angel's command, the lower-ranked players gradually disappeared from the space. Huang Yo-min revealed a sinister smile as he watched the dissipating crowd. At this time, Su Yalan still couldn't face the bloody scene from before. The bodyguard hurriedly rushed into Ma Jinglu's room. Ma Jinglu was also particularly surprised at this moment, then smiled and replied, "Were you afraid I would die in the fourth game? Didn't you see the rankings for the fourth game?" Hearing this, the bodyguard gave an affirmative answer. Although he knew the result of the rankings, he was still very worried. After all, the competition in the fourth game was too insane. Yes, the rules of this game are too cruel. That's why he fell into a deep sleep as soon as he returned to reality. After all, he was in a state of mental tension throughout the entire game. Killing 433 players was Ma Jinglu's record, but if you count repeat kills, the number would be even higher. Ma Jinglu found it hard to imagine what kind of monster Black Scythe was. After all, the strength he displayed was too terrifying. After several rounds of the game, Ma Jinglu had also developed a deep sense of admiration for Black Scythe, but he didn't know Black Scythe's true identity. If such a player could be on the same side, the game would become much simpler. He had an answer for this. He wanted to use the man's prophet identity to ask for some information about Black Scythe. At this point, he and the bodyguard completely believed in the man's prophet identity, since he had accurately stated the rules of the fourth game. Because of this, he planned to make changes to his business model, reforming it in the direction the man had suggested. After all, with the inherent advantage of a prophet, the company could also use this ability to grow rapidly. The scene changes. The man arrived at the convenience store where Julie was. Upon meeting, Julie expressed her gratitude to the man. After all, the man had revealed the rules of the fourth game to her, which allowed her to survive safely. In fact, the man understood that even without his reminder, Julie would not have perished in the fourth game, because Julie possessed the unparalleled protection rune. This rune could ensure Julie's personal safety. Julie was not a flower grown in a greenhouse like Su Yalan, but a very resilient weed. The man, while eating, noticed Julie's sorrow. Because of her actions, Julie felt a deep sense of guilt. The man immediately comforted Julie. Because of the special game rules, they had to kill If they didn't passively comply, they would be the ones to be destroyed. That would also be a kind of harm to the relatives who care about them. Hearing this, Julie also readily accepted the man's guidance. After all, in reality, she still had her father, whom she was very concerned about. The man, seeing Julie's condition gradually improving, told her information about the fifth game. The fifth game will be the most difficult of all rounds, and the regions will be merged. But the man did not tell Julie that they would meet in the fifth game. The man had to hide his identity. He then reminded Julie to listen carefully, because the fifth game might be so difficult that she couldn't even pass the assessment. For this, the man offered a solution: to seek the protection of Black Scythe. That's right, Black Scythe. The man had just accepted a normal skill, but he got the biggest prize from the Draw Soul card, which not only fully upgraded his stats, but also allowed him to obtain the maximum number of combination magic stones. Just as the man told Julie to seek the protection of Black Scythe, the woman was stunned on the spot. Black Scythe, the player who has continuously dominated the top of the all-region rankings, is already over level 30. Are you sure you want me to seek Black Scythe's protection? Will he agree to my request? If you want to survive the next round, you must form a temporary alliance. To be precise, it's not seeking help, but a mutually beneficial exchange. Because you have a buff skill, Black Scythe will surely need such an enhancement skill. Hearing this, Julie still felt a little insecure about her abilities. Will Black Scythe really be interested in his support abilities? The man gave an affirmative answer to this. Don't sell yourself short. Your buff skill is very powerful. He will agree to your request. The man then fabricated another white lie, claiming that he had seen such a scene in the future. At this moment, the woman looked very happy and also expressed her gratitude to the man. At the same time, a green blessing skill emitted a dazzling light. As a stream of green energy entered his body, the man was also particularly happy. Blessing. The last time he received Julie's blessing, he had drawn the highest gold reward. The scene changes. The man once again used the buff skill to hunt insects. After the mission was completed, the slaughter rune also grew. The reward for completing the mission was a 50 increase to all stats. He then opened the status window. At this time, the man's luck stat was as high as 84 points. Such a blessing buff was enough for the man to draw a reward. The lowest grade magic stone draw soul card. It would randomly award 1 to 5 magic stones as a reward. He then prayed for the biggest reward to appear. But on second thought, he gently shook his head. If praying worked, he wouldn't have needed to restart his life 99 times to clear this damned game. This game in a virtual space must be the creation of those damned gods. Humans are merely playthings for the gods. Thinking of this, the man's gaze gradually became resolute. If he could successfully clear the 20th floor boss this time, he would definitely destroy these gods who treat them as playthings. He then used the magic stone draw soul card. A system prompt appeared. Congratulations on receiving 5 lowest grade magic stones as a reward. 2 lowest grade red magic stones. The man was also particularly surprised by this result. He actually got the biggest prize. He then opened the combination window. First, he combined the 2 identical lowest grade red magic stones. The quality became a low-grade magic stone. Identical magic stones can be combined in the game. Thus, one can obtain the desired item. The man then combined the magic stones with his equipment. A system prompt appeared. Combination successful. Assassin's Hood, damage increased by 2. Dark Shadow Gloves, all stats increased by 2. Ring of Resistance, luck increased by 2. Agile Boots, agility per second increased by 2. The man then separated the blue magic stone from his armor, and the stats decreased accordingly. At this point, the man had combined all the magic stones. Then it was time to prepare for Ma Jinglu's banquet invitation. The scene changes. According to Ma Jinglu's invitation, family members could be brought along. So the man also brought his younger brother to the dinner party. At the same time, the bodyguard came early in the morning to pick up the man and take him to the destination. He also apologized for his rude behavior during their first meeting. That night, everyone arrived at the hotel owned by Ma Jinglu. After some simple pleasantries, they entered the restaurant, just as everyone was preparing to dine. The man, however, was extremely shocked. Why would she be at the banquet? That's right, she was the celebrity, Su Yalan. The man just gave a simple verbal warning, but it made the dark night break out in a cold sweat, because the man used the mind rune. Not only did he accurately predict his inner thoughts, but he also saw right through the conversation between the two. At this moment, he understood. Offending a prophet was no joke. The scene changes. In a dim corner of the city, suddenly, a desperate cry for help rang out. An old man collapsed on the ground. Standing beside him was Representative Ma Jinglu. The next second, the sword in his hand thrust fiercely into the old man. The demonic sword in his hand was wreathed in countless streams of black energy. The representative's job class had a fatal flaw. It needed to be charged with black magic. He was powerless to do anything about it, because if he wanted to use the energy of the dark aura, he had to charge the black magic. He obtained more black magic by killing, so he developed a penchant for killing criminals. Perhaps this was a mission that made him a dark knight, coupled with the pressure the man had put on him earlier. Killing criminals also became a tool for him to relieve stress. The scene cuts back to the previous night, just as the man was wondering why Su Yalan was at the dinner party. Ma Jinglu began making introductions to everyone. At this point, the younger brother was also very shocked, because they had met once before when delivering a gift during the move. He was pleasantly surprised by this. After all, sitting opposite him was the celebrity Su Yalan. After some simple mutual pleasantries, everyone began the dinner party. During the dinner, Ma Jinglu asked the man, "I noticed you only came with your younger brother. Did no one else from your family accompany you?" The man just spoke faintly. "Both of our parents have passed away. It's just the two of us brothers, depending on each other." Hearing this, Ma Jinglu was stunned on the spot. He then expressed his apologies to the man. He had originally intended to find out the man's background, but it led to this particularly awkward scene. He was now extremely annoyed by the previous question. A long silence fell over the restaurant. Afterwards, Ma Jinglu called Su Yalan over to the hallway. His purpose this time was to have Su Yalan liven up the banquet's atmosphere. But Su Yalan didn't understand his reason for doing so. He was very dissatisfied with this. "Don't you know who's sitting across from you? Isn't he a major shareholder of the company?" "He is a major shareholder, that's true. More importantly, he's a prophet." Hearing this, Su Yalan was also extremely shocked. "Now you understand why I had you attend the dinner, right? Knowing the rules of the next round in advance would be a huge help. You must use that pretty face of yours. Win his favor at all costs." Su Yalan, however, strongly disagreed with the representative's idea and refused. "As a representative, I gave you the chance to be a star. Is this how you repay me? The purpose of this is just to win the man's favor, so we can get the information we want." Under Ma Jinglu's pressure, Su Yalan lowered her head. This was her tacit agreement. The scene changes. After the dinner was over, they moved to the next venue. The man, however, sent everyone away, leaving only Ma Jinglu. "Mr. Representative, do you think I'm easy to get along with?" Just one sentence left Ma Jinglu stunned on the spot. "Have you forgotten my identity as a prophet? I, who possess the future rune. How could I not know about the conversation between you two?" At this moment, Ma Jinglu was breaking out in a cold sweat. "If you try to hide anything from me, then you should be able to imagine the consequences." At this point, Ma Jinglu immediately expressed his apologies to the man. He admitted his actions were very foolish and said he would compensate for his foolish behavior. The man looked at the sincerely apologizing representative and also expressed his forgiveness. This had clearly achieved his desired goal. The representative was very pleased by this. Previously, he had been very satisfied with his own idea, and the progress was very smooth. But he had forgotten the most crucial part. He forgot the man's identity as a prophet. He now dared not imagine how irrational it was to offend a prophet. From then on, he had no more schemes against the man. The man then shared the information for the 5th round of the game. The 5th round of the game will be the most difficult one. The mission will be to kill 300 orcs, and it will be accompanied by something more important. Because of the decrease in players, the areas will be reorganized. Hearing this, Ma Jinglu looked eager to try. This meant he could meet players from other areas. For example, Black Scythe. However, the man immediately shattered the representative's fantasy and explained that he would not meet Black Scythe in the next round. "Do you know who Black Scythe is?" "I don't, but you'll be able to meet him soon." Although he was already facing Black Scythe right now. The man then asked, "Are you still tracking Huang Yongmin's information in the real world?" The representative was extremely shocked by this. How did he even know that? He was then secretly amazed at the power of the future rune. "Give up the pursuit. Otherwise, you will suffer." The reason the man wanted the representative to give up tracking Huang Yongmin was that Huang Yongmin still had some use. Ma Jinglu agreed to the man's request. After leaving, he felt the pressure the man had put on him. He had to do something to relieve his stress. The scene changes. After attending the dinner party, the man had been staying at home. But today was the day to start taking action, because a rune that could be obtained in the real world was about to appear. I Vitoruna. The man just took off the mask on his face and shocked the person in front of him, because the identity under the mask was a man he could never have imagined. Are you the real Black Scythe? At this moment, Huang Yongmin simply couldn't believe it. The man he used to trample on at will in school was actually Black Scythe. Recalling his first encounter with Black Scythe, is this why he's been targeting me in the game all this time? Black Scythe said, I know it's still hard for you to accept this fact, but I am indeed Black Scythe. You clearly have so much power. Why did you always pretend to be bullied by us? Because I kept giving you chances. But instead, you doubled down on beating and kicking me. As soon as the words fell, Huang Yongmin's shoulder was chopped off. I was really foolish in the past to still hold a sliver of hope for you. As a classmate, I'll give you a painless death. He then cast a healing spell, repairing Huang Yongmin's shoulder. Looking at the familiar yet strange man before him, he said, You really are Black Scythe? I'm no longer the person you knew. The me now is the Black that everyone knows. The one you all call Black Scythe. Please spare me. I know I've done too much. Let me atone for my sins. There's no need for atonement. I can be your slave. I can listen to you anytime, anywhere. As long as you ask me to do anything, looking at Huang Yongmin in front of him, I won't be using you, because you will betray me again. Huang Yongmin was shocked. How could he know what I'm thinking? Don't kill me. I definitely won't betray you. Before Huang Yongmin could continue speaking, a single blow ended his life. Only then did Black Scythe slowly speak. I once gave you a chance. At that time, I didn't have a mind rune. I couldn't know your true thoughts. In the end, during one of the angel games, you ambushed me. So this time, I will never give you another chance, no matter what. From now on, I never have to see your disgusting face again. He then silently chanted, Erase traces. The traces of the body on the ground were erased. Next, he had more important things to do. Not long after, the leader entered the room. Why are you looking for me so early? The woman said, It's already this late. The people who went to find Black Scythe should all be back by now, right? I just received news. They all died during the meeting. All of them died? Who on earth would do such a thing? Could it be Black Scythe? That's right. It's Black Scythe. Current intelligence analysis shows that Black Scythe is hunting down players from our alliance. We've barely had any contact with Black Scythe. He has no reason to target the alliance. I also don't understand why Black Scythe is targeting us. Maybe he just simply dislikes our alliance. This is terrible. If he's hunting down alliance players just because he dislikes us, we must unite to kill Black Scythe. At first, I thought having Black Scythe join the alliance would make us stronger. Now it seems Black Scythe is just a madman. Black Scythe is the enemy of our entire alliance. We must avenge the alliance's players. But I have a question. How can we be sure that the player in this meeting was the real Black Scythe? This time, there was an eyewitness. He saw the entire incident unfold with his own eyes. The man just demonstrated a basic class ability and shocked the person beside him. Because the man possessed the sole hidden class, Prophet. It turned out the PCW executive had informed them that Black Scythe was hunting the alliance members. The chairman and the woman both said they would definitely be careful. Then the chairman left the chat room. You're really lucky to have escaped from Black Scythe's hands. Please get some good rest. The PCW executive said, I went through something too terrifying today. I really do need a good rest. After the woman left the chat room, it seems they didn't notice me. With a soft call, dispel disguise. It was Black Scythe, disguised as the PCW executive. Black Scythe chuckled to himself. It seems I'm quite suited to be an actor. The 5th round of the Angel game is over. I specifically chose the item, Desperado. Use, success rate 99.9. No one knows. It can perfectly disguise me as the person I killed. There are almost no flaws. Black Scythe really wanted to kill the chairman and then take on the chairman's appearance. That way, he could control the entire alliance. But the funny thing is, the chairman of the player alliance is not a player himself. I will continue to stay in disguise and monitor all of the alliance's activities. The most important thing right now is to increase my strength, and restoring the durability of the Eternal Slumber Stone can help me improve faster. It's time to go abroad to find that person. At this time, in a wild forest in England, a man was frantically forging a weapon. In a short while, the forging was complete, but the man's face was full of sorrow. It was such a perfect weapon, yet no one was willing to pay money to buy it. He had poured his entire fortune into this just to keep going. He then said he had to go out and earn money and then keep at it. A man must have ambition. He encouraged himself. Although he wasn't skilled in combat, he had obtained a new skill in the 5th round. The skill could increase a weapon's durability and damage. Just as the man was thinking, Black Scythe had already arrived outside the door. Hearing the sound outside, he couldn't help but turn to look. He was very surprised to see Black Scythe's arrival. This was deep in the forest. He then asked with confusion, "Who are you? Are you lost in the forest?" "I'm not lost. You must be the famous blacksmith, Daniel. How do you know my name? Have we met before?" "This is the first time we've met, but I've heard your name long ago. I am a prophet. I have met you more than once in my prophetic dreams." "You're a prophet? This is simply unbelievable. Your name is Daniel. You're a blacksmith. You're in the Yukio 8 Novice Village in Area C of the Angel game." At this moment, the man said with a shocked expression, "I've never heard of the existence of prophets. The existence of a prophet feels incredible to me. It's normal for you to be surprised, because I'm the one and only prophet. Since your class is so rare, what are you doing here?" Black Scythe said, "Of course, I came to seek your help. I hope you can help me repair something. In exchange, I will tell you the information for the 6th round of the game." "You mean information for the 6th round?" "If I know the information for the 6th round in advance, I can definitely gain the upper hand. I'll help you increase the durability of one item, and you provide the information for the 6th round. This exchange feels too simple. The reason I'm telling you all the information for the 6th round is that I actually want you to be my friend." Daniel heard this, but didn't understand its meaning. "In my prophecy, you will be a high-level blacksmith in the future. Your forging skills will be unmatched, but you ultimately die in the 15th round of the game. So I want to become your friend. I will help you become stronger, and thus successfully escape the prophecy of death. You've told me so much information. What do you want from me?" "I just want you to become my comrade in arms, so we can help each other." The man just used a basic class skill, and shocked Black Scythe, who was beside him, because the owner of this skill is the man standing at the pinnacle of this field, the inheritor of the god of craftsmen, Daniel. So Black Scythe had found Daniel. He said he just wanted to become partners with him. Black Scythe knew very well Daniel was the only high-level blacksmith in the Angel game to survive until the 15th round. If I can form a partnership with Daniel, it will be a great help to my future. But he seems to have some reservations. Black Scythe said, "You don't need to worry about anything. I just want you to help me repair my equipment occasionally. In return, I will tell you the information for the next round every time. This way, you can also get stronger faster and minimize the danger as much as possible." Daniel knew he had no reason to refuse. But could he really trust the man in front of him? Daniel said, "I'm very grateful to you for thinking so highly of me, but I would like to wait until after the 6th round before deciding whether to cooperate with you. Of course, I can help you repair your item first this time." Then, Black Scythe took out the slumber stone he wanted to repair. Its current durability was already at 1. "I hope you can help me repair this item." The next moment, the man invoked his exclusive class skill. Fiery flame elements surged madly into the slumber stone. The scorching flames gradually fell dormant. Fiery flame elements surged madly into the slumber stone. At the same time, the emblem of a hammer of fire and gold was reflected behind the man. In a short while, Daniel announced that the repair was complete. Black Scythe was incredibly shocked inside. That emblem was the symbol of the god of craftsmen's inheritance. No wonder the repair was completed in just a moment. With this item, my stats can get another rapid boost in the next round. Daniel looked at Black Scythe's satisfied expression, thinking to himself, although I don't know the necklace's stats, it must be of great value to him. Black Scythe looked at Daniel. So he doesn't know the necklace's stats. It must be because, as a blacksmith, he doesn't want to pry into his customer's privacy. "Thank you very much for helping me repair the item. I'll tell you the information for the 6th round now." A moment later, Daniel fell into deep thought. If the monsters are really that strong, I must find some helpers. Just as Daniel was deep in thought, Black Scythe said, "Can I buy something from you? You have some black steel powder of unknown use, right?" Hearing this, Daniel was utterly shocked. "He even knows what items I have." Black Scythe said slowly, "Blacksmithing is an extremely money-consuming class in the early stages. I guess you must be short on money right now." At this point, Daniel was stunned on the spot. He could even predict that I'm short on money. Daniel said, "Mr. Black Scythe, I'm very sorry. I had a sliver of doubt that you were lying before." Black Scythe said, "That's a normal concern for anyone. Mr. Daniel, I have no ill intentions towards you." After the Angel game descended, everyone is cautiously protecting themselves. Daniel said, "I'll give you the black steel powder for free, because I think you've already told me too much information." Hearing this, Black Scythe was also surprised. Then, a black cloth box appeared before his eyes. The item's description was just a few short words. A rather deep black powder emitting faint magical fluctuations. At this moment, Black Scythe was still in shock. Is he really going to give it to me just like that? Black steel powder is a very precious material in the mid to late game. This material only shows its true use in the 11th round. Black Scythe thought to himself that he had obtained a far too precious item from Daniel. Are you sure you want to give it all to me? Daniel said he didn't know the use of this item. Right now, probably only you as a prophet. No, he clearly wants this thing. It must be a very precious material. But I've already received a lot of help from him. I can't be greedy. Hearing Daniel's inner thoughts, Black Scythe revealed a happy smile. He then said, "Open it. This is all yours." The next moment, Daniel stood frozen on the spot. A full 1 million pounds. He had never seen so much money in his life. Black Scythe said, "This should solve your problem of scarce materials. With money, you can focus on researching the craftsman's skills." Daniel looked at Black Scythe with great gratitude. "By the way, I have another suggestion. While you're using this money to buy materials, you could take a portion to buy stocks. A player's land stock will appear soon. You can buy as much as you can. Of course, I'm not forcing you to buy it. If you buy this stock, you will never have to worry about money in the future. I will follow your advice, because he gave me all this money for free." He then expressed his hope that they could cooperate happily in the future. Daniel took down Black Scythe's contact information. "After the next round of the game ends, we will meet again." Several days later, the Angel game summoned them again. Black Scythe surveyed his surroundings. It was a vast desert area. Other players were also summoned one after another. Everyone was a little uneasy. They really didn't know what this Angel game's mission would be. Black Scythe thought to himself that he needed to find some people to cooperate with. Of course, Julie was the top choice. Besides Julie, he needed 3 more people. Just as Black Scythe was thinking, a voice came from behind. "Mr. Black Scythe." Julie walked towards Black Scythe. Julie said happily, "I found you right after being summoned this time, Mr. Black Scythe. Please guide me in this round as well, Mr. Black Scythe." At this moment, Julie didn't notice the gazes of the people around her at all. The crowd whispered among themselves, wondering who she was to be so close to Black Scythe. Everyone cast looks of envy and jealousy. "Mr. Black Scythe, did you defeat the final boss last round?" Black Scythe gave an affirmative answer. Julie was very curious. "How did you manage to kill the boss in such a short time?" Hearing this, Black Scythe smiled and said, "I'm not going to tell you how I killed the boss, nor will I tell you what reward I got." Julie clenched her small fists and looked at Black Scythe with a pout. Julie said, "I haven't even spoken, and you already know what I want to ask. It's like you can read my mind." Hearing this, Black Scythe was startled. A woman's sixth sense is indeed terrifyingly accurate. After speaking, Julie suddenly blushed. How could she talk to Black Scythe like that? It was as if she was saying, "Black Scythe pays a lot of attention to me." Julie blushed and kept apologizing, saying she shouldn't have spoken carelessly. Black Scythe was in a great mood. He said, "You can consider that a compliment to my strong observation skills." At this moment, Julie was also very glad. She never expected Black Scythe to be such a kind and gentle guy. To the side, a woman was looking at Black Scythe in the distance. Su Yalan was very puzzled. Who was the girl next to Mr. Black Scythe? A beautiful angel descended upon the mortal world. But it left everyone around stunned on the spot, because the angel announced the information for the 6th round of the game. In the end, only 500 people can survive the 6th round of the game. It turned out Su Yalan was very puzzled. Who was the woman beside Black Scythe? She then walked towards Black Scythe and greeted him. Black Scythe looked at the 2 people in front of him, his expression turning cold as he asked, "Is there something you need? Is this girl on your team?" Hearing this, Black Scythe's expression was already cold. He then said, "I have no obligation to answer your question." Su Yalan thought to herself, he was just smiling so gently at that girl. Why is he suddenly so cold to me? Black Scythe said, "We don't have any mission cooperation, do we?" In fact, Black Scythe understood. They appeared before him because they wanted to invite him to team up. And Xiangja beside her said, "Mr. Black Scythe, we would very much like to join your team." "Why should I let you join my team? What benefit is your joining to me?" "Actually, we already have the information for the 6th round of the game. As long as we team up, I can share it all with you." Black Scythe looked at Xiangja, pretending to think very seriously. And Xiangja was very nervous. He didn't know if Black Scythe would agree to his request. Since he made this request, I must test him. Then, Black Scythe said he didn't need the information for the 6th round. This shocked Xiangja. Getting the game information in advance should be a great help to you. I don't know where you got the game information from. I can't judge if the information is true or false, so I will fight in my own way. If you tell me who gave you the game information, I will consider letting you join me. He then spoke again, just tell me, and I'll agree. This deal is also very good. After thinking it over, and Xiangzhe said, this is a secret that absolutely cannot be revealed. I'm very sorry. Hearing this, Black Scythe thought to himself, it seems Xiangzhe understands how to keep a secret. He won't spread the matter about the prophet. Just as Xiangzhe was disappointed and about to leave, Black Scythe said, I agree to let you join my team. And Xiangzhe was stunned on the spot. I really appreciate people who can keep secrets. Such people can often become reliable teammates. And Xiangzhe, who had come back to his senses, was very glad that he hadn't said anything. We will do our best to serve you and try not to hold you back. Black Scythe said, her name is Julie. She is my exclusive support. Hello, my name is Su Yalan. At this moment, Julie was stunned on the spot. Julie asked, did you change your original appearance? You look just like the big star Su Yalan. I am the big star you're talking about. Hearing this, Julie jumped up in excitement. At this time, and Xiangzhe said, Mr. Black Scythe, do you really not need the information for the 6th round of the game? I don't need it. I can handle anything that's about to happen. I originally wanted to use the information for the 6th round to make Black Scythe have a good impression of me, but it seems Black Scythe isn't interested. She then asked Julie, what does Mr. Black Scythe mean by saying you're an exclusive supporter? And Julie said she can increase a player's stats. Once the Angel game officially begins, I'll let you experience it for yourselves. And Su Yalan said she can also add a status effect. What kind of status can you add? Su Yalan said it's just a shield ability. And Xiangzhe understood that Black Scythe really liked this girl. He then introduced himself to Julie. Julie said, it seems like you and Black Scythe have known each other for a long time. Looking at Black Scythe in the distance, and Xiangzhe said, he saved our lives. Hearing this, Julie was even happier. She was glad her judgment was correct. Black Scythe is a gentle man on the inside. And at this very moment, the angel descended. It's a pleasure to meet you all again. She then looked around. This time, there are 1,100 players participating in the game. This is the content of our game for this round. Just kill one boss within 6 hours. In the end, only 505 people can survive. At this time, whispers from players came from beside Black Scythe. Is there only one boss this round? It seems the boss this round is very strong. The angel said, in this round, no matter how strong a player is, they cannot defeat the boss alone. This round is a team competition that we have carefully prepared. You need to form a 5-person team to fight. Players who have formed a team cannot attack their teammates. Of course, this only applies to members of your own team. You can still attack other teams. In a team, no matter who kills the boss, everyone can get gold and items according to their damage output and contribution. But if you're too far from your team, you won't get any rewards. Is the reward distribution mechanism an even split? A player asked. Of course it's not an even split. It's distributed according to the percentage of damage output. Of course, if you're lucky enough, you can get it even with low output. Can I take that to mean that even if my output is 1%, as long as I'm lucky enough, I can still get an item? The angel gave an affirmative answer. That's right. Support players will also be given contribution points based on the status effects they provide. These are the rules for item distribution. If you can't find members to team up with, then only death awaits you. That is to say, as long as our team defeats one boss, all 5 of us can survive this round. A total of 101 bosses will spawn this time. This is all the information for the 6th round. I'll leave the rest to you now. Black Scythe looked at the angel. The angel made it sound so easy. Only Black Scythe knew that this round would not be so simple to complete. The next moment, the countdown start prompt rang in everyone's ears. And Xiangzhe was very clear. This was just as the prophet had said. A team of 5 is needed to do the mission. I'm very glad I joined Black Scythe's team. I will definitely be able to survive this round. And Xiangzhe said we now have 4 players. Black Scythe said he already had a candidate for the 5th person. Everyone was very surprised. You've already thought a teammate so quickly? Black Scythe smiled faintly. You should be somewhere around here. The man just sent out a team invitation and shocked everyone around him, because the target the man chose was an inconspicuous piece of trash. But only the man understood. The other person was the future founder of the Reaper's Church. The 6th round of the game begins. Black Scythe is looking for the teammates he wants. If that person is nearby, he can pretend it's a chance encounter and have them join his team. The people around also start to get busy. They must form a 5-person team, otherwise, it's impossible to complete the mission. They hurriedly send out team requests to those around them, afraid they won't find strong teammates if they're too late. Someone even shouts that as long as someone takes them along, they won't need any items. At the same time, Most people have their eyes on Black Scythe. This mission requires a team to proceed, so they all have a chance to cooperate with Black Scythe. After a moment, someone couldn't hold back and walked towards Black Scythe at MR. Black Scythe, we don't need any items. Can you let us join your team? Before they could finish, Black Scythe said he didn't need them. The two could only walk back awkwardly, worrying if they could survive this round. Black Scythe originally planned to just find a few random teammates to complete the mission, but now he wants to find 5 teammates who can grow together. At this moment, a large number of players are still watching Black Scythe. One after another, people came to request to join, but all they received were cold rejections. The people around looked enviously at the players beside Black Scythe. They would surely survive this round under Black Scythe's protection. And Xiangzhe was also very curious about who Black Scythe would choose as teammates this time. If Mr. Ma Tianlu were here, I would definitely recommend Mr. Ma to Black Scythe. Meanwhile, Julie was also thinking if Black Scythe were here, he would definitely let him join this team. As everyone was thinking, footsteps were heard from behind at MR. Black Scythe, long time no see. Everyone looked towards the sound. I'm very happy to see you in the 6th round. Black Scythe joked, I thought you were eaten by those orcs in the 5th round. Zhao Yonghao laughed heartily. I received help from Mr. Black Scythe. Our team also completed the 5th round mission quickly. Thank you so much for saving my brother. He then called out to his teammate behind him. The man said that if it weren't for Mr. Black Scythe, he would have died in the 5th round. You were able to complete the mission with an injured shoulder. You did a great job. Zhao Yonghao said, Mr. Black Scythe, are you looking for teammates? Of course, Mr. Black Scythe, please don't misunderstand. I didn't come to join your team. I've already formed my own. Black Scythe knew Zhao Yonghao didn't come to join his team. The golden chain displayed on his arm indicated that he already had a team. I came to thank you. At the same time, I have a proposal. I'd like our teams to form an alliance. I also want to be able to help you. Everyone in our team hopes to repay Mr. Black Scythe. Black Scythe pondered for a moment. I'm very grateful for your kindness, but I don't need any help at the moment. Hearing this, Zhao Yonghao said he didn't need any items. He just wanted to repay the favor. Black Scythe replied that he just didn't want to make a simple mission too complicated. We really want to repay you for saving our lives. Hearing this, Black Scythe no longer refused, saying that if he really needed help, he would definitely let them know. Zhao Yonghao showed a satisfied expression that if you need anything, just call us. He then said goodbye to Black Scythe. Before leaving, he bowed deeply again to express his thanks. Seeing them walk away, and Xiangzhe asked, have you decided on the 5th person? Of course. I've already decided on the 5th player. Black Scythe pointed to the left. Seeing this, everyone turned to look. It's that player named Ai Weiwei. That's right, I'm talking about you. Hearing this, the man walked nervously towards Black Scythe that I noticed you watching me from the side a while ago. Why were you staring at me? Ai Weiwei said, I want to join your team. I'm level 23. My class is Dark Mage. Black Scythe said he's our 5th teammate. The man couldn't believe it that you're letting me join the team just like that. The people beside them were also shocked. Black Scythe had rejected many powerful players, yet he chose this player who looked very weak. While no one understood, only Black Scythe knew. In the future, he would be the founder of the Church of the Death God and also my fanatical follower. Since he's my fanatical follower, it's a good choice to establish a friendship early on. He then had everyone gather together. As they stacked their hands on top of each other, a golden glow appeared. A golden chain, representing the successful formation of the team, appeared on everyone's arms. At this moment, Ai Weiwei still couldn't believe it.mr. Black Scythe actually let me join him. I will definitely give my life for him. The girl just used a basic class skill, and it shocked everyone around her. The girl's ability was to increase all stats by 60%. Did I guess this? The true power of Black Scythe's exclusive support? Just as Black Scythe invited Ai Weiwei to form a team, the fanatical Ai Weiwei declared that he would definitely give his life for Black Scythe. In the past, Ai Weiwei had always been an ordinary person who was ignored. Ever since the first year of high school, he was bullied by his classmates every day. They even jokingly said they were his friends. Of course, being their friend required paying them money. His parents had died in an accident when he was young, and he lived with his elderly grandmother. He couldn't afford it all, but his classmates wouldn't give up so easily. Instead, they said, we just want money. We don't care if you steal or rob to get it. They even said, if you don't give us the money, we might just put your grandmother to rest. His grandmother was his only support. He would risk his life to protect his only relative, but he had no strength at all. Every time he resisted, he was met with endless beatings and even more forceful bullying. More than once, he wanted to die. But reason told him that if he died, there would be no one to take care of his grandmother. So he endured this kind of high school life for 3 whole years. He thought that once he got into university, everything in life would get better. But unexpectedly, an angel suddenly descended and announced the beginning of the apocalypse. He worried, if he died, what would happen to his grandmother? Fortunately, he survived until the 3rd round. Then one day, when he returned home, and the murderers were the 3 bastards who bullied him in high school. Ai Weiwei didn't understand. Why was he treated this way? He just wanted to live an ordinary life. Anger and sadness surged within him. The next moment, 3 arrows like black flames pierced through the people in front of him. The instant the black arrows touched them, they had already completely corroded their lives, completely taking their lives. From that day on, the man began to go mad. The angel's game can ultimately grant a person's wish. I must become the strongest and bring my grandmother back to my side. With this mindset, he began to fight. Each time, he managed to get first place in his area. But it wasn't until the 3rd round that I realized the overall first place was always occupied by a player named Black Scythe. The first time I saw Black Scythe, he single-handedly defeated 9 area representatives and seemed to do it with ease. At that moment, I understood. This was the strength I was pursuing. What do I have to do to become as strong as Black Scythe? If I were that strong, I could definitely win the game and bring my relative back. When Black Scythe invited him to join the team, he couldn't believe it. I've really become a member of Black Scythe's team. He then stated that he was a level 23 Dark Mage, with the skills Dark Arrow and Dark Chains. Looking at Black Scythe, he silently prayed, I hope he doesn't look down on me. Black Scythe's expression didn't change. He said we could set off now. Julie spoke up, wait a moment. She then cast a blessing on everyone. A notification appeared. All stats increased by 60%. Skill duration, 3 hours. The next moment, she cast another skill, Swiftness. A notification also appeared. Attack speed and movement speed increased by 60%. Swiftness duration, 30 minutes. This action left everyone around them stunned. Sue Allen was dazed. Such a strong support ability. Is this the reason she can stay by Black Scythe's side? Recovering from his shock, Sue Allen said he would also do his best to help everyone. He summoned a spirit bird. The spirit bird looked very cute, making Julie want to pet it. Sue Allen explained that he was a summoner, and the spirit bird's ability was to add a protective shield. Then, he activated another skill with his palm. The void began to coalesce. Rocks from all directions started to pile up in the void. This is my level 20 skill, Rock Golem. Although it doesn't have strong attack power, it can attract monsters to approach it. Then Black Scythe said, now, let's set off and start the mission together. At this moment, Ai Weiwei was extremely shocked. This Black Scythe's team? The support abilities are so powerful. A moment later, the group appeared in a desert. Ai Weiwei heard the sound of a fierce battle not far away. He then jumped onto a sand dune above. He then looked to the side and saw a 3-meter-tall centaur warrior roaring continuously. The surrounding players seemed very excited. They hadn't expected to find the first boss so easily. Without any hesitation, they charged towards the centaur warrior in front of them. But they didn't expect the centaur's strength to be so great. Just upon contact, the longsword in his hand was knocked away. The man retreated and took out a spare weapon, saying, we can't fight it head on. We need to split up and wear it down. A woman shouted, what's our specific plan of action? A man shouted, every time the centaur attacks, we'll look for an opening to strike from behind. At this time, Black Scythe was watching from a distance. He thought their coordination isn't bad, but they chose the wrong strategy. The next moment, the man who was trying to sneak attack from behind was instantly kicked away by a hoof. Black Scythe watched coldly. The hind legs are a powerful spot. Although the centaur warrior's strength was immense and its speed was astonishing. That because the archer and the woman controlling the long sword were both ranged attackers. After a long period of attrition, the centaur warrior's health reached its lowest point. In the end, it fell before the random team. Ai Weiwei was startled. Did they just kill the boss? Did they just become first place in this game? The random team was very excited. This was the first time they had completed a mission so quickly. Ai Weiwei said, they killed the boss. Are we just going to keep waiting like this? The man just used a basic class slash, and it shocked everyone around him. It was because the weapon the man used was the number 1 ranked item, the Scythe of the Death God. So the random team was lucky enough to be the first team to kill the centaur. They were incredibly excited, thinking they would be first in this angel's game. Even the dark mage, Ai Weiwei, who was watching from the side, became flustered. Did we just lose first place in the game? Ai Weiwei hadn't expected the battle to end so quickly and couldn't help but worry. Mr. Black's Scythe must be very disappointed too. Ai Weiwei was surprised. Why does Mr. Black's Scythe look so calm? The random team that had killed the monster started to panic. Did you all get the mission completion notification? There's no message in my notifications. What's going on? We clearly killed the centaur warrior. Have they finally realized? In fact, Black Scythe understood that the centaur they had just killed was not the boss. The real boss is a raging minotaur. The minotaur is far more powerful than ordinary players. Therefore, it would take more than 20 level 20 players to possibly defeat it. This also means it requires at least 4 teams to succeed. This is the trap set by the angel, setting the team size to 5 people. It made everyone mistakenly believe that 5 people could successfully kill the boss. There was another trap. Once 5 people jointly killed a centaur, that everyone would be trapped in place. This meant they couldn't do anything for a short period. Black Scythe quietly looked at Ai Weiwei. Then he looked at the reactions of the others around him. It seems they're also diligently gathering game information. He coughed lightly. I'm going to start putting my analyze strategy into practice. This brought the surrounding people back to their senses. Black Scythe spoke up, analyzing the expressions of the random team. They didn't kill the boss. We should now focus on the centaur warriors. Kill centaur warriors to level up. This decision shocked everyone. I believe that as long as it's not 5 people attacking a centaur at the same time, the trapping effect won't be triggered. You just need to follow me. Stay within 100-meter range to enjoy the experience bonus. I will kill the centaur warriors alone. If we kill a centaur together too early, we'll just be trapped in place waiting for the real boss to appear. That would just waste the leveling time in this round. And Xiangzhe couldn't believe it. Black Scythe was able to analyze the rules of this round in such a short time. Ai Weiwei said, if we proceed with the mission like this, first place in this round will likely be taken by someone else, right? Black Scythe replied, even if first place is taken, we can still gain a huge level boost this round. Besides, the ranking in this round might not be decided by the order in which the boss is killed. And Xiangzhe was stunned. Black Scythe actually knew that this round might not be based on the kill order. Julie said, fighting a centaur alone is too dangerous. Do you really not need our help? You just need to follow me closely. Leave the rest to me. Sue Allen was incredulous. A 5-person team had just barely managed to kill a centaur. Could Black Scythe really kill one by himself? On the contrary, Ai Weiwei thought, Mr. Black Scythe's words are completely fine. You don't have to do anything and can enjoy the experience I bring. In return, all the monster drops belong to me. Ai Weiwei said, we'll follow all of Mr. Black Scythe's arrangements. We will follow behind you. This action surprised everyone a little. Ai Weiwei was a bit too enthusiastic towards Black Scythe. Then Black Scythe said, you all need to keep up with me now. Let's get ready to go. The next moment, everyone stood frozen in place, in disbelief. How can he be so fast? In just an instant, Black Scythe had already run a distance of several dozen meters. Everyone was still in a daze. Don't just stand there stunned. Let's hurry up and follow Black Scythe. Black Scythe's figure was like he was flying across the desert, leaving only an afterimage on the ground. At this time, the group behind him could only chase after him exhaustively. Julie couldn't help but exclaim, what on earth is Mr. Black Scythe's agility stat? How can he be so fast? Although Ai Weiwei was a dark mage and had always thought he was fast due to his class characteristics, he never expected Black Scythe's speed to be even more terrifying. The next moment, Ai Weiwei was startled and shouted, Mr. Black Scythe, watch out. A centaur is sneak attacking from the left. Black Scythe seemed not to have heard Ai Weiwei's warning. His speed didn't decrease at all as he charged towards the centaur. The next moment, Black Scythe suddenly disappeared from his spot. He reappeared behind the centaur, and in less than a second, the centaur was slain. By the time the group arrived, they only saw the centaur's corpse lying on the ground. Everyone's faces were filled with shock and fear. What just happened? Is this the true strength of the number 1 ranked Black Scythe? We didn't even see it clearly. One after another, centaurs appeared on the desert, and the Black Scythe in Black Scythe's hands swung continuously. The monsters in front of him died one after another. At this moment, Black Scythe was like a tireless machine. With every slash, a centaur fell. The ground was littered with centaur corpses. The system's notification sound also rang out. Triple experience bonus activated. Title experience bonus, 150. Kill count has reached 172. Kill me rune effect activated. All stats increased by 100%. Black Scythe frowned slightly. Only 172 kills in 30 minutes. 2,000 centaurs were released in this entire area. At this rate, I can kill them all in 6 hours. However, other teams will also kill some of the centaurs. Just then, he heard panting from behind. The group had finally caught up with Black Scythe, their faces showing extreme exhaustion. Looks like I need to stop and let them rest a bit. He then announced a 10-minute break. Julie said, "We can barely keep up with your speed." Everyone collapsed on the ground. This time, they were truly astonished. Just staying within 100 meters of Mr. Black Scythe was a struggle. Julie's face was full of admiration. Mr. Black Scythe, you're too fast. You can even kill centaurs with ease. Looking at Julie's flushed cheeks, Black Scythe showed a doting expression. Should I slow down a bit? Before Julie could answer, Ai spoke up. Mr. Black Scythe, you're the most terrifying person I have ever seen. As soon as he finished speaking, the sound of footsteps came from behind. Dozens of players were gathered together, walking towards Black Scythe's group. Seeing this, the group immediately became alert. The atmosphere began to grow tense. Black Scythe's expression turned cold. The man just swung the scythe of the death god in his hand. And it shocked the random team beside him. Because the centaur warrior, which originally took dozens of people to defeat, was killed by the man with a casual swing. This is the number 1 ranked man, Black Scythe. A large group of players walked towards Black Scythe, just as the atmosphere became extremely tense. A man came forward with a fawning smile, but it's a real honor to find you here. Hearing this, Black Scythe's expression remained cold. What do you want from me? I came looking to cooperate with you. Before the man could finish, Black Scythe cut in. I don't need anyone's help. The man was startled. Mr. Black Scythe, your strength is unquestionable. But this time, the boss is also unbelievably strong. Did you see it? He then pointed to a sand dune not far away. That minotaur-shaped creature is the boss of the 6th round. It's as huge as a hill. It's not something a single team can fight. Just now, a random team was just passing by and glanced at the minotaur. And they were all killed within a minute. Seeing that, I realized that this kind of boss is impossible for our 5-person team to complete. Black Scythe said with a cold face, I have no intention of participating in your boss raid. Hearing this, the man became a little nervous that we don't need any items. You can even have the final blow on the boss. Black Scythe's expression grew even colder. I don't want to repeat my answer to the same question 3 times. Seeing this, the man hurriedly left, shouting, sorry to have bothered you. Returning to his team, the man had an embarrassed look on his face, saying that no matter how he invited, Black Scythe refused everything. The group didn't understand. Black Scythe has to kill the boss too, right? Does he think he can do it alone? The group looked at the Minotaur in the distance. Although we're terrified, we have to take down this Minotaur together. With that, the group walked towards the Minotaur with determined hearts. When they got within 20 meters of the Minotaur, they were discovered. The Minotaur looked back with a ferocious expression. The entire 20-person team didn't expect the Minotaur's awareness to be so high. The team members were shocked. The monster is really running over. After a brief panic, the team members quickly assumed a battle stance and began to surround the Minotaur. Black Scythe also jumped onto a sand dune at this time. He was curious how long it would take 20 people to finish it. In Black Scythe's eyes, the Minotaur wasn't a particularly difficult boss. The Minotaur's attack and defense were extremely terrifying, but its speed was much weaker than most monsters. Experienced players could easily dodge it and counterattack at the same time, although the Minotaur's defense was terrifying. That as long as everyone launched a concentrated attack, they could always put the Minotaur on the defensive. This is a case of making up for insufficient damage with attack frequency. Finally, a player charged a skill into his long axe. This strike also consumed more than half of his mana. With a sound of breaking wind, it smashed towards the Minotaur's chest. Finally, after a full 10 minutes, the 20-person siege broke through the Minotaur's defense. Seeing this, everyone became excited and charged towards the Minotaur. Attacks rained down on its chest. Each player wanted to take the opportunity to deal more damage, just for the greed of one extra attack. Point one was instantly grabbed by the Minotaur. The next moment, he was crushed to death. With the fall of the final fireball spell, the mountain-like body collapsed. At the same time, one player's body was instantly enveloped in a curtain of light. Immediately after, 4 other players were also protected. Finally killed the boss. It seems that completing the mission causes a light curtain to appear for protection. The people in the light curtain couldn't help but wonder, are we just going to wait like this until the game ends? Looks like the others will have to continue teaming up to find a new boss. The man couldn't help but look back. Should I go and try inviting him one more time? The next moment, he turned and left, thinking Black Scythe definitely won't participate. Afterwards, Black Scythe said, "It's just as we predicted. Raiding the boss early wastes a lot of time. We need to speed up the pace of the mission. You almost keep up with my speed." As soon as he finished speaking, Black Scythe rushed out at an extremely fast speed. Time passed quickly. More and more players were being protected by the light curtain, sign that they had finally survived this round. Just then, a player exclaimed, "Is that Black Scythe?" They saw Black Scythe charging toward his centaur. With just a casual swing, he actually one-shot the centaur. The people around couldn't believe it. They knew it took a team of at least 5 people to defeat a centaur. The random teams found it even harder to understand. With Black Scythe's strength, he should have been able to complete the mission long ago. Completing it now won't get him a higher rank. I thought he would continue to get first place. But no one can stay in first place forever. Just then, the last centaur was killed. A notification appeared. Centaur cannot be located. Out of the 2,000 centaurs in the entire area, I've already killed 1,920. There are only 20 minutes left in the game. Almost all the centaurs have been killed by me. Julie, panting heavily, said, "Can we rest for a bit? It's been so hard keeping up with Mr. Black Scythe. The centaur hunt is complete. Now we can leisurely go find a boss." The man just used a basic class skill, and it made everyone around him break out in a cold sweat. The Minotaur boss, known as a player killer, was killed in an instant. You have to know, the Minotaur's defense was hard to break even for dozens of people. This is the number 1 ranked man, Black Scythe. Before this, Black Scythe had killed the last centaur. The hunt is over. We can go find the Minotaur chieftain now. Julie, panting, asked, "Are you saying we don't need to hunt centaurs anymore?" According to my tracking skill, all the centaurs in this area have been killed, and Xiangzhe subconsciously checked his own information. He shouted in disbelief, "Everyone, check your level status." Everyone stood frozen in place. Their levels had increased so much. Black Scythe asked, "What's your current level?" "I was originally level 20, now I'm 34. Sue Allen had also reached 34, while Julie was 35. Ai Weiwei couldn't believe it. He was actually level 36. Without any experience bonus, their levels had all increased by 13 to 14 levels. With my 4 times experience bonus, I also gained 14 levels. I'm now level 54. I got 19 mana stones, 9 common equipment pieces, and some other items. In addition, I also got a material required for divine grade synthesis, a shining ponytail. I can feel a faint magical fluctuation from it. Not only did my level increase so much, but I also got a lot of gold coins. Everyone received around 110,000 gold coins, and Xiangzhe's face was full of joy. This was the first time he had so many gold coins. Black Scythe said, "It's best to use the gold coins to buy necessary skills in the shop. Tracking skills, visual enhancement, and interference skills are all necessary." Hearing this, Ai Weiwei didn't hesitate and bought all the skills Black Scythe mentioned, spending 60,000 in one go. Is everyone ready? Next, we should go kill the Minotaur chieftain. Black Scythe activated his tracking skill. He then charged north. After a moment, Black Scythe stopped. A large number of players had already gathered here. A few players also noticed Black Scythe's arrival.mr. Black Scythe, are you also here to kill the Minotaur? Please join our team and fight with us. I have no intention of cooperating with anyone. I will kill the Minotaur chieftain by myself. Hearing this, the crowd started to murmur. Although I know Black Scythe is strong, even he shouldn't be able to face the boss alone. Mr. Black Scythe, it takes a team of at least 20 people to kill a Minotaur chieftain. You're gonna kill it alone? Mr. Black Scythe, aren't you being too arrogant? Black Scythe spoke coldly. Are you saying I'm too arrogant? Don't let me in with you. That's not what I meant. I just think our success rate would be higher if we worked together. In my eyes, there's no difference between 1 person and 20 people. It's like the difference between 1 ant and 20 ants. There is none. He then gripped the scythe of the death god and slowly walked towards the chieftain. Julie called out worriedly, "Mr. Black Scythe, will you really be okay?" Black Scythe replied, "I'll be back soon." Then, under everyone's gaze, Black Scythe walked towards the boss. The players who had already completed the mission were also watching Black Scythe's every move. Can he really do it alone? Looking around, at least 100 people are watching me. This is my chance to prove my strength to them. As long as I can kill the Minotaur chieftain at the fastest possible speed, they will hold me in even greater awe. He looked at the Minotaur chieftain wandering back and forth. Black Scythe began to activate his skills. At the same time, the Minotaur chieftain sensed a dangerous aura and looked towards Black Scythe. Black Scythe was seen charging power in a crouching stance. The death scythe in his hand crackled with energy. Seeing this, everyone realized Black Scythe seemed to be preparing to use some kind of skill. He calculated the attack range. The moment the Minotaur stepped into the alert distance, Black Scythe would unleash his skill without hesitation. The Minotaur chieftain roared continuously. Then, it charged towards Black Scythe, posturing as if to crush him. Black Scythe took a light step back with his right foot. Just as the Minotaur chieftain was 1 meter away, the Knight of Death skill was activated, and the Death Scythe in Black Scythe's hand had also finished charging. Moonlight Ruin Slash. Accompanied by several crescent-shaped slashes, it shot forward. The Minotaur chieftain didn't even sense the attack until it was right in front of it. In just an instant, the Moonlight Ruin Slash gently slid across its neck. The Minotaur chieftain didn't even let out a cry of pain. Its head and body were already separated. All of this happened in the blink of an eye. Everyone around cried out in shock. How is that possible? Black Scythe actually one-shot the Minotaur chieftain. The man displayed his power in front of everyone for the first time, because the man had actually killed the chieftain in just 1 second. Could this be Black Scythe's true power? Just before, Black Scythe had instantly killed the Minotaur chieftain. The spectating players were in disbelief. Was the Minotaur killed just like that? Their faces were filled with shock. They couldn't even see clearly how Black Scythe did it. But Black Scythe's expression didn't change at all. All of this was completely within his expectations. A notification sound rang out. You have defeated the Minotaur. Obtained item, Cowhide X1. Obtained, Minotaur armor design. Cowhide is a necessary material for crafting high-level equipment. It is a rare grade item. The Minotaur armor design is also a rare item. Description, a design detailing 6 methods for crafting Minotaur armor. He thought to himself, selling these two together would surely fetch a good price. What's wrong with you all? Black Scythe's voice pulled everyone back to reality from their shock. Ai Weiwei had a look of worship on his face. Mr. Black Scythe, you're simply my god. Ai Weiwei's gaze made Black Scythe uncomfortable. He complained inwardly, I'm not into men. At the same time, a curtain of light enveloped Black Scythe. The angel's voice also slowly sounded from the sky. Teams that have not completed the mission will be eliminated. She whispered, disappear, trash. Then she eliminated the players who had not completed the mission. Next is the pleasant ranking announcement session. First in the total region is Black Scythe. First in this region is also Black Scythe. The moment the rankings appeared, the players beside him cried out. We were clearly the first team to kill the Minotaur chieftain. So what if you're the first team to kill it? I never said the ranking this time would be based on kill speed. Looking at the confused crowd, the angel stated that this round is actually calculated based on the slowest kill speed. The test for this round is, the player who is the last one to kill the chieftain within the time limit is the winner. Black Scythe killing the chieftain in 1 minute is already outstanding. Hearing this, a player spoke up. That Black Scythe didn't seem to take a minute. The angel showed a puzzled expression. It wasn't 1 minute? She subconsciously looked towards the leaderboard. After a moment, the angel hurriedly composed her flustered expression. How could she show such an expression in front of this group of humans? Then, with a slightly nervous look, she said, it seems this chieftain wasn't strong enough. At this moment, Black Scythe looked at the notification panel in front of him. Reward, 1 epic grade helmet selection coupon and a special treasure chest for the total region. Black Scythe clicked the exchange coupon without hesitation. It prompted, you can choose one of the following 3 options. Black Scythe decisively chose the Helmet of Hermes. Effect, agility increased by 10 points, stealth ability enhanced. The Helmet of Hermes has a special skill. Effect, agility increased by 10 points, stealth ability enhanced. Invisibility has a 30-minute cooldown. This will be a great asset to me. Although it can't hide sound, when combined with my concealment rune, I can become completely silent. He then opened the first place treasure chest for the total region. He directly chose the material reward. 3. Sturdy mana stone. At this stage, I must choose the gold dust. This is a necessary crafting material for god-tier equipment. Angel gold dust, a powder derived from an angel's hair. A notification sound rang out. Rewards claimed. Round over. Ma Tianlu had just returned from the Angels game. Before Ma Tianlu could come to his senses, and Xiangzhe's voice was heard from outside the door. What are you doing here? I just got back from the Angels game. Your level must have increased a lot, right? After all, you followed Blackscythe's team for 6 hours. I'm very curious how many levels you gained that made you come report to me so excitedly. And Xiangzhe said he went from level 20 to 34. Ma Tianlu was stunned for a long while. Did you say level 34? Your level increase has surprised me greatly as well. I'm also very surprised. We had a hard time just keeping up with Blackscythe. His strength is unbelievable to me. I never would have dreamed I'd level up so much. I didn't expect it either. Your level has actually surpassed mine. I'm only at level 29. Hearing this, and Xiangzhe fell silent. Don't be so tense. It seems my level is not only lower than yours now, but probably even lower than Sue Allen's. Continue. Is Blackscythe's speed really that fast? Blackscythe killed the Minotaur chieftain in just 1 second. Ma Tianlu had also seen the leaderboard, but he still couldn't believe it. And Xiangzhe said, Blackscythe used a skill I've never seen before. His speed was so fast, it was just a blur. Ma Tianlu's expression was incredibly serious. Is this the gap between myself and Blackscythe? My Dark Knight class is undoubtedly powerful, but I still can't keep up with Blackscythe's pace. I must speed up my leveling. I need to replenish my dark magic power soon. Blackscythe, you're putting so much pressure on me. Go find a prophet. Ask him when I can meet with him. Mr. Ma, do you think the prophet can survive this round? That's for you to confirm. Don't ask me. Ma Tianlu stared blankly out the window, muttering, Blackscythe, I will definitely surpass you. At this moment, Ai Weiwei was lying on his bed, unable to calm down for a long time. Blackscythe's power was completely imprinted in his mind. In Ai Weiwei's eyes, Blackscythe was an incomparably powerful god. He was frustrated that he was completely useless in the game. I couldn't help Mr. Blackscythe at all. I really want to help Mr. Blackscythe. Mr. Blackscythe is a god. So what would a god need? A god would need followers. The just returned Black Scythe couldn't stop shivering. Why do I feel like someone is targeting me? The woman is clearly a weak priestess class, but the man was incredibly determined to get her. In the future, the woman would be known as the strongest support alongside Julie. She even possessed the power to resurrect players. It turned out Ai Weiwei was preparing to establish the Church of the Death God to help Black Scythe gather followers. The just returned Black Scythe only felt a shiver run through his body. It felt like he was being watched. Just then, a phone rang beside his ear. He picked up his phone and looked. An international number. Then, Daniel's voice came through the phone. Daniel excitedly expressed his thanks to Black Scythe. If it weren't for your reminder, I would have died. I've already booked a flight. I'll be by your side soon. Black Scythe was surprised. This didn't seem to happen in his past life. He then said that Daniel was welcome anytime. The next day, Daniel and Black Scythe met again. Black Scythe said, you sounded particularly excited on the phone. Of course. Let's sit down and have a good chat first. Looking at the delicious-looking food in front of him, he hadn't eaten such a fragrant meal in a long time. Black Scythe said he could eat as much as he wanted today. Daniel said, let me treat you instead. You saved my life. If you want to repay me, then help me restore my equipment's durability. Daniel didn't hesitate at all. He instantly helped Black Scythe fully restore his equipment's durability. Black Scythe spoke up. You said I saved your life. What exactly happened? I followed your advice and spent 6 hours leveling up. In the end, I only managed to kill the Minotaur at the cost of nearly dying. If I hadn't listened to your advice, I would be dead by now. I'm glad I could help you. I still can't believe it. I'm currently the highest level blacksmith in the game. That's why I've come to join your team. Black Scythe welcomed him. This way, you can also become the world's strongest blacksmith faster. By the way, did you listen to me and invest in the company I mentioned? Daniel said he invested 70% of his money into it. I don't know what that company does, but I trust your judgment. A moment later, in front of the company building. I'm glad you trust me so much. But I still have to tell you what the company does. This is a company that targets players. In the future, it will become a huge trading platform in the market. This company will become the world's #1 player platform in the future. The company is so huge. Is it really okay for us to just walk in like this? Black Scythe said, Although I'm not the CEO, I have a controlling stake in this company. It was originally an international trading company, but now I've changed it into a player platform. I'm a simple man. I don't understand these things. I completely trust you. Let's go to the office and have a good chat. The moment Black Scythe appeared, the receptionist's expression was clearly a bit unnatural, and Xiangzhe happened to be guarding the office door. He asked with some surprise, "Mr. Black Scythe, what are you doing here?" Black Scythe said he had some business with Ma Tianlu. "This is my friend. I want to introduce him to Mr. Ma Tianlu." Right now, Mr. Ma is meeting with a guest in the office. He stuttered a bit as he spoke. Seeing this, Black Scythe understood. Ma Tianlu must have told him to stand guard outside and not let anyone in, and Xiangzhe's loyalty is 100%. So who is Ma Tianlu meeting? And Xiangzhe complained inwardly. Why did Black Scythe have to show up when Ma Tianlu's fiancé is here? Black Scythe, who had the mind-reading rune, was startled. Ma Tianlu es fiancé? So it's that woman who's here. A moment later, Ma Tianlu hurried out and asked why Black Scythe had come. Your question is a bit strange. Can't I come to my own company? Ma Tianlu said that wasn't what he meant. Actually, Black Scythe understood. In Ma Tianlu's eyes, he was just a human with some use value. Deep down, he looked down on him. At this moment, Ma Tianlu could only keep apologizing. You can come to the company anytime. It's just that you usually notify me in advance. Her name is Christine. She's a friend of mine. Black Scythe knew. Christine's class was the Hidden Priestess class. She had rather average healing abilities. In his past life, she was the only player besides Julie to make it to the 15th round of the Angels game. Although the Priestess's healing ability was rather average, upon reaching level 60, she would obtain a powerful skill, Life Rewind. It could resurrect players who had been dead for less than 10 minutes. I really didn't expect to meet Christine here. Black Scythe thought he must bring her into the 20th round. Hearing Ma Tianlu introduce her as a friend, Black Scythe spoke up. Is she really just a friend? Hello, Christine. I am Mr. Ma Tianlu's business partner. Christine said it was the first time she knew Ma Tianlu had a business partner. Black Scythe said it was also his first time knowing that Mr. Ma's fiancée was so beautiful. Hearing this, Ma Tianlu was shocked. The prophet even knows she's my fiancée? Ma Tianlu spoke with some nervousness. You even know about Christine? I'm very sorry. I really didn't mean to hide it from you. I understand why you wanted to hide it, but as business partners, I don't want you to lie to me. At this moment, Ma Tianlu was full of regret. How could he have done something so foolish? Christine was also a little surprised. It was the first time she had seen such a humble Ma Tianlu. The man just stated the prophesied outcome, and the woman beside him was stunned on the spot. Because the result of the prophecy was that the woman had only 1 year of life left. You should know, the woman possessed the secret priestess art of healing everything. Even in the game, countless players surrounded her to protect her. The so-called prophet, in the woman's eyes, was just a swindler. It turned out that Ma Tianlu's very humble demeanor surprised Christine. Ignoring the woman's surprised expression, Black Scythe said, Daniel, please wait a moment. In a while, I plan to tell everyone the information for the 7th round of the game. Only then did Ma Tianlu react, saying, Christine, the man in front of you is my business partner. He is a partner in the company and also the decision maker for the company's direction. He then looked at Black Scythe for approval. Seeing Black Scythe's tacit nod, he stated that Black Scythe was also a prophet. Christine showed a look of confusion. Are you kidding me? How can there be a prophet? No need to be surprised. Just as Mr. Ma said, I possess a unique prophetic ability. I can tell you how to win the game. She hurriedly asked if Ma Tianlu was joking. Ma Tianlu stated that Mr. Black Scythe's prophecies have always been very accurate. Why are you telling me your secret of being a prophet? Black Scythe said, because I'm about to tell you the secret to passing the 7th round. Of course, I don't need any reward for the information on the 7th round. Christine was in complete disbelief. Black Scythe understood. If he didn't produce actual results, this woman would never believe him. The information for the 7th round is very simple. Do not be deceived by temptation. As soon as he finished speaking, even Ma Tianlu was surprised. Is that all there is to it this time? You must imprint this sentence in your minds like a mantra. Just don't be deceived by temptation. Christine, there's another prophecy I need to tell you alone. Actually, the main purpose of my visit to the company was to see you. My prophetic power allowed me to see you at the company. And in my known prophecies, you will die in the 11th round of the game. I will die in the 11th round? Does that mean I only have 1 year of life left? Your understanding is correct, but I can change the course of your life. I can help you survive death. A moment later, on the plane, Christine kept thinking about what Black Scythe had said. My life will come to an end. Can his words really be trusted? Luckily, my father isn't with me. Otherwise, he would definitely scold me for worrying about such ethereal superstitions. But the prophet also told me that he would save me in the 11th round. But when I asked how he would save me, he said he didn't know either. The content of his prophecy is too vague, and he doesn't even know how to save me, yet he says he will. Soon, the plane landed. Jeffrey, what are you doing picking me up at the airport? Christine, did you have a pleasant trip? Someone asked me to pick you up at the airport, and also to take you to see your father. The U.S. Congress Hall. I just got off the plane. Why is father in such a hurry to see me? The man knocked on the door. Father, Christine is back. Christine, were you satisfied with your trip this time? How was Ma Tianlu's performance? Ma Tianlu's performance was the same as usual. It's just that Christine seemed hesitant to speak. Her father asked, did he do something impolite? You are my charming daughter. Even he would have a hard time controlling himself. His originally deep expression became very excited. Seeing this, Christine hurriedly denied it. It's not what you think, father. You two have been dating for 6 months. Has there really been no progress? Hearing this, Christine was slightly embarrassed. She said, we don't have any emotional foundation. How could dating go so smoothly? Christine, your father is doing this for your own good. Ma Tianlu's family's Ohang's company has great influence internationally. Marrying him will bring you many benefits. Christine said she understood her father's words. But I always feel that Ma Tianlu is hiding something from me. It seems he has other secrets he's keeping from me. What has Ma Tianlu been doing these days? He's preparing some work projects. Even after becoming a player, he's still preparing projects to make money. Daughter, you are a person chosen by God. You've obtained the divine power to heal everything. Hearing this, Christine looked at the energy slowly being released from her hand. Is this power truly a gift from God for humans to possess? I believe it must be a blessing from God. Christine, you're truly God's favorite. I've told you more than once. The angels in the game are not what you imagine. They're demons with wings. Apparently, Christine's father didn't believe it. He asked if Ma Tianlu could flexibly use the power bestowed by God. He has already reached level 29. At level 29, he's preparing to build a player's social platform with another person. And that arrogant man even has a business partner. I don't remember his partner's name, but his partner is a prophet. He told me the information to clear the 7th round. And he also said some things that can't be verified for now. In this era, prophetic ability is a very precious power. Why didn't you get closer to this man? Because he said I might face a life or death crisis. As soon as she said that, Christine's father was shocked. Seeing her father's nervous look, Christine said, don't worry. It's just a prophecy of unknown authenticity. In the current world, anyone can pretend to be a prophet. So, I'm still skeptical about his words. The man said, Christine, you need to find more companions. I don't need to find companions at all. Father, have you forgotten? I am the regional representative. The vast majority of players will protect me. Christine, even so, you must take this matter seriously. I understand, father. I will be more careful. Jeffrey watched his sister's departing figure. The next moment, Christine's father whispered, Jeffrey, Ma Tianlu's partner, is a prophet. His statement that my daughter will die makes me very unhappy. Jeffrey, go and monitor the prophet. If you find he is a fake, then send him to hell. A simple upgrade to the death scythe left the man stunned on the spot. The man unexpectedly unlocked the death scythe's hidden attribute. He secretly swore that this time he would definitely free everyone from the Angels game. Christine's father arranged for his son to monitor Black Scythe. If Black Scythe was found to be a fake prophet, he was to be eliminated immediately. Meanwhile, the PCW was preparing for a meeting. A man smiled and said, "You're early, Miss Yami." As soon as he finished speaking, a notification sound announced the chairman's entry into the room. Then the man said, "You two are right on time. The meeting is about selecting players to join our PCW. Yiluk, do you have any suggestions? This time, I've selected 30 players who applied to join, ranked from highest to lowest level. These 30 will need to be tested. In the end, we will select the 5 most qualified players to enter the management level. The next agenda item is that the U.S. Congress is looking for a new candidate, and the candidate chosen by the U.S. will restrict the development of our PCW. We need to consider how to deal with him. These are the 2 items I need to inform you about." The next morning, Black Scythe never expected the Players Land trading website to be so popular. In just one night, tens of thousands of people had registered and put items up for sale on the platform. Gore looked at the various special materials on the platform. In the future, it would be much easier to obtain materials for crafting equipment. There were enough materials for him to craft 3 pieces of unique quality equipment. He then selected the items he needed. The current price of a mana stone was only 200,000. A moment later, he bought all the items he needed without hesitation. 2 days later, Blackside's younger brother mumbled, "Big brother seems so busy lately." When he opened the main door, he was dumbfounded. "Why are there so many packages?" Seeing this, Blackside said, "Don't make such a big fuss. These are things I need as a player." His brother was in disbelief. "Do you really need so many?" Soon, a large number of gems were piled up in the living room. Blackside thought to himself, this should be enough for synthesis. Every 15 low-grade stones can be synthesized into 1 highest-grade stone. Soon, all the stones emitted a burst of light. A notification sound followed. Synthesis successful. With continuous success notifications, he had now synthesized all types of his gems to the highest grade. Now, all that's left is to socket them into the equipment. He then socketed the red one into his weapon. A notification showed damage increased by 16%. Socketing successful. Helmet of Hermes. Strength increased by 32. Armor. Luck increased by 43. In a moment, all the gems were socketed. My visible stats are all around 200. If I add the buffs from various runes and Julie's enhancement, I can reach a total bonus of around 2,000. When the last piece of gauntlet was equipped, a notification sound rang out. 7 types of highest grade gems have been equipped. The rainbow attribute has been activated. Idun attribute, rainbow aura. Increases resistance to all abnormal statuses by 50%. Blackside smiled faintly. With all resistances combined, I've reached 82% resistance. This means I have an 82% chance to mitigate abnormal statuses. I can't believe I monopolized all the gems on the entire trading platform. I clearly remember that gems would later be hyped up to a value of 20 million each. I need to fill all my equipment with gems as early as possible. He looked at the remaining items. I'll deal with these items after I reach level 60. Since I have such a big advantage with the trading platform, I should pay more attention to special materials. The next moment, a look of shock appeared on Blackside's face. Skin of the Immortal. This is an essential item for upgrading legendary equipment. In the Angels game, equipment grades are divided into normal, uncommon, epic. Above that are unique and legendary. The highest grade is God tier equipment. Equipment above epic grade can only be obtained through upgrades. Average players can at most only buy epic grade items. The higher the grade of the material, the stronger the monster that needs to be killed. He couldn't help but wonder, can anyone really obtain legendary grade materials at this stage? He proceeded with the purchase with a skeptical attitude. Skin of the Immortal. This item drops from the 5th round's Orc Chieftain, but the drop rate is pitifully low. Did this person really kill the orc and get this item? The next moment, Blackside seemed to remember something. Could it be that person? His skills are high enough to kill an orc. He has the item trait attribute. If it's really that person who posted the item, this could very well be a trap. That guy's request is a face-to-face trade. It's most likely a trap, but I must get this material. He then sent a message to the other party and requested a meeting location. After arranging the meeting, Black Scythe smiled wryly. This guy really treats others as prey. He lures other players with high-value items, ultimately kills the players, and seizes their items. I must meet him before he harms more players. The man just initiated a trade request, leaving the trader beside him utterly shocked, because the item the man chose to trade was the orc skin that no one was interested in. But only the man knew that the orc skin had a hidden equipment synthesis recipe. At this moment, the man who received the trade request was speechless. My asking price is 1 million, and he still wants me to lower it. Doesn't he know what grade the item he's looking at is? I got this by killing the 5th round's lord. At that time, I thought I was going to die at the lord's hands. However, although the item's grade is very rare, I still can't figure out its specific use. The person buying the item should know. When I see him, I must torture him properly. At this moment, another player who had come to trade was on the ground, begging for mercy. The man said with contempt, "I didn't expect you to be so poor. Of all the items you contributed, only this weapon is barely decent." Without any hesitation, his dagger fiercely stabbed the man in front of him to death. What a letdown, wasting so much of my time. I hope the player coming to trade later will be more interesting. Ever since he was young, the man felt that life was too boring. Nothing could pique his interest. He once tried to focus on his studies, but eventually gave up. When his grades dropped, he was scolded by his parents. From that day on, the man found his own kind of fun. Amidst his parents' scolding, the man killed his own parents. This twisted sense of excitement drove the man into a frenzy. The man who killed his parents, due to his young age, ultimately escaped legal punishment. However, the man did not turn over a new leaf. Instead, he became a perverted serial killer. Until the angel's game descended, the man became even more obsessed with the feeling of slaughter. Possessing the drop rune, the man acquired a large number of high-value items. What drove the man even crazier was the player-versus-player combat in the 4th round of the game. This made the man completely sink into depravity, infatuated with the pleasure of killing. The man wanted to turn the real world into a battlefield as well, and began to lure and kill players in reality. The man in front of him was the 7th player he had killed. Lifting the corpse from the ground, I need to prepare to meet the 8th player. He then dragged the corpse to a nearby trash can, taunting, as long as the trading player comes near this trash can, I can activate the corpse explosion skill. That way, I can blast him away. Even if the blasted player survives, I can still use the fear curse skill to subdue him. The man was incredibly excited. Before I kill him, I must play with him properly. Just then, the sound of heavy footsteps came from behind. Seeing this, the man became exceptionally excited. Are you finally here? As long as you get close to the trash can, I'll blast you away immediately. The next moment, Black Scythe, disguised as someone else, appeared before him. The man watched, unconsciously muttering a little further. Yes, that's it. Just 5 more steps. The next moment, Black Scythe stopped walking. The man complained, "Why did you stop halfway?" At this moment, the disguised Black Scythe said, "Are you the one selling the item?" The man gritted his teeth. If he had taken 2 more steps, I could have activated the skill. What are you doing over there? Don't you want to sell the skin of the immortal? The man standing in place smiled. I didn't expect you to be so fast. He thought, if I get closer, I'll also be in the skill's blast radius. I could use the fear curse to subdue him, but that would be too boring. Didn't you want to trade? I'm already here. Why aren't you coming over to trade? The man said, my leg hurts a bit. Can you come over to my side to trade? Seeing this, Black Scythe spoke up. Do you know how far I walk for this trade? Do you want to trade or not? Were you lying about having the immortal skin? The man, holding back his temper, said that his leg just hurt. Does your leg really hurt? We agreed to meet and trade, but now you're stalling. Are you trying to lure me over to rob me? Looks like you're just a scammer. You don't have the immortal skin at all, do you? What a waste of time. Running into a scammer like you. People like you should just go die. At this moment, the man trembled all over from Black Scythe's scolding. The next moment, the man shouted, look here, this is the genuine immortal skin. Hearing this, Black Scythe revealed a sinister smile and said, so it is real. The man's heart tightened. What's with this guy? Why did he suddenly smile? Suddenly, a slash fell from the void, and the man's arm was instantly severed and fell to the ground. Feeling the pain, the man screamed. He didn't understand what had happened. The other person was still far away and hadn't made any move. The next moment, a whisper sounded in the man's ear. Are you looking for me? The man didn't understand why there were 2 identical people. Black Scythe showed a mocking smile and said, game over. The man just used a basic class skill, shocking everyone around him. This was because the man not only healed his eyes, but even saved his life as if giving alms. He was the man ranked 2nd in the entire region. How could he endure such humiliation? Little did he know, Black Scythe's act of sparing him was all for his drop rune. The man was trapped in confusion. Why were there 2 identical people? Black Scythe mocked, it's only ever been me. As soon as he finished speaking, the Black Scythe in front vanished into thin air. The Black Scythe behind him bent down to pick up the immortal skin, speaking at the same time. I have no obligation to explain it to you. Hearing this, the man was furious. He had never been looked down upon like this. The next moment, the fear curse skill was activated. The curse skill required direct eye contact with the opponent, with its success rate and control duration depending on the target's resistance. Seeing this, Black Scythe didn't make any move, staring at him as if looking at a dead person. A prompt appeared. Target has resisted the fear skill. Fear skill has failed. The man showed a look of disbelief. This was the first time his skill had failed. Just as the man was stunned, he was met with Black Scythe's swift and fierce attack. The man didn't expect that with his stats, he couldn't block the attacks at all. Facing Black Scythe's assault, he couldn't see the movements clearly. In a moment, he was sent flying like a dead dog. The man's body trembled uncontrollably. Am I going to die here this time? However, a moment later, Black Scythe cast a healing spell. The healing spell, like elven particles, surrounded the man. his eyes filled with shock. My wounds have actually all recovered. Black Scythe said, "Who gave you permission to space out? I haven't had my fill of fighting yet." Following that was another carrying beatdown. Every time the man was beaten to the brink of death, Black Scythe would cast a healing spell. The man desperately endured Black Scythe's beating. My fear curse failing before must have been bad luck. This time, I'll definitely make you regret toying with me. The moment the skill's cooldown ended, he immediately used it. But before the man could fully activate his skill, Black Scythe directly pierced his eyes. Black Scythe spoke coldly. "Did I say you were allowed to fight back?" The man was exceptionally furious. This was the first time he had been toyed with like this. Having lost his eyes, the man could only swing his long sword continuously in front of him, trying to hit Black Scythe. Seeing this, Black Scythe didn't hesitate. He defended with his long sword while kicking the man away. The immense momentum sent the man flying several meters. The man staggered to a half-kneeling position. His eyes were blind, and his arm had been cut off. "If this goes on, I'll definitely die." He suddenly remembered a corpse bomb in the nearby trash can. Then, he revealed a crazed smile. "Even if I die here today, I'll take you with me." He roared, corpse explosion. At the same time, the entire alley was swallowed by the violent energy. The sound attracted the attention of people nearby. Looking at the mess in the alley, did an explosion happen? The police on duty nearby said it was probably a gas stove explosion. At this moment, on a small building not far away, Black Scythe stood quietly. "I almost let you die in that explosion." This man's name was Zhu Qingtai. In the Angel Games overall region rankings, he always hovered between second and third. His game name was Stupid Fellows. I need to make use of him. He possesses a particularly useful drop rune. The drop rune can increase the drop rate of items. But if I just let him go like this, he will definitely continue to kill people. After thinking it over, Black Scythe still used a healing spell. At the same time, he healed his blinded eyes. But Black Scythe didn't intend to restore his limbs as well. As long as he's alive, he can enter the Angel game with his soul. But in reality, without his limbs, he's much less of a threat. A moment later, the man groggily woke up. He looked around. He had detonated the corpse bomb. Looking at his severed arm and right leg, he screamed, "Come out! What do you want?" Just then, he discovered a note beside him. The note read, "You are of no use. With you having lost your limbs, I have absolutely no desire to kill you. In other words, you're worthless trash." At this moment, the man clutched the note tightly in his hand, his uncontrollable anger making his arm tremble nonstop. Not only did he block the corpse explosion, but he's even insulting me, saying I'm not even worthy of him dirtying his hands? Just how much does he look down on me? I will definitely make you pay the price. Meanwhile, in the Empire Hotel on the other side, Julie said this was the most delicious food she had ever eaten. "As long as you like it, let me spend a little more time with you today." Hearing this, Julie was slightly surprised. "This is the first time you've said you want to spend more time with me." "Actually, I wanted to be with you like this for a long time." Julie spoke with a hint of complaint. "You've already postponed our dates several times. You've been getting busier and busier lately." Black Scythe thought to himself, "I have indeed been too busy lately. The PCW meeting and the website's shareholder meeting." But postponing the date with Julie was for a more important reason. Lately, someone has been watching me. Black Scythe knew clearly. That person was Jeffrey, a level 28 assassin. The Angels had just started the 7th round's main quest, thus shocking everyone around him. This was because the 7th round's quest was actually a riddle. Everyone thought there was an error in the game. Only the man understood that the 7th round was originally a hidden main quest round. Before this, Black Scythe clearly understood someone was following him. And the person following him was the level 28 assassin, Jeffrey. And the person who ordered him to monitor me must be Christine's father, Craig. At first, I didn't notice anyone following me. I only discovered it by chance when I used a detection spell, but I couldn't see any trace of anyone with my naked eye. So, the other person is either an assassin or has an invisibility skill. He thought I wouldn't discover his presence, so he was very relaxed and off his guard. From the day I discovered him, I began to counter-track him. The moment he deactivated his invisibility, I recognized his identity and eavesdropped on his conversation. From his conversation, I learned that it was Christine's father who was concerned about my prophecy about his daughter, and thus ordered Jeffrey to monitor me at all times to determine my identity as a prophet. At this time, Black Scythe was on a date with Julie. Julie asked with slight surprise, for the 7th round's information, is it just about not being tempted? That's right. You just have to not be tempted. The 7th round's quest is very difficult for ordinary people. The elimination rate is also very high in this round. I have to protect these people until the 20th round. I'll do my best to let them reach the final stage alive. Looking at Julie in front of him, Blackscythe said very seriously, "Let's survive to the final round together." Hearing this, a blush appeared on Julie's face, and she softly hummed in agreement. A few days later, the angel game descended once again. Everyone was very nervous, standing in place with anxious hearts. The angel announced, "This round, there are only over 400 players left. The decrease in players has made the game no fun at all. Let me merge the regions again." Ultimately, a larger region was formed. A prompt appeared, "Region merge complete." The total number of people is now 4,992. Then, the angel said, "Now this can be called a game stage for victors. Since the region merge is over, you should also choose a new regional representative." As soon as the words fell, several rays of angelic light appeared in the sky. Blackscythe understood. The angels were discussing the selection rules for the new regional representative. He needed to become the regional representative again. This way, he could gain one-time use of the regional representative's equipment. Additionally, this round's side quest offers the mental barrier rune. This is a necessary rune. The mental barrier rune can perfectly resist the skill of that woman from PCW. These two items, I must obtain them. At this moment, the angels were discussing the rules for the regional representative. I heard that during your last region merge, you played an interesting game, a battle between regional representatives. Blackscythe's regional representative gave an awkward smile. Back then, his region lost, so he was forced to host the game. Then he smiled. This time, we can also continue to decide it through combat. The angel beside him shook his head. But your region has Blackscythe. He's the only level 50 player in the entire game. Hearing this, Blackscythe's regional representative said, "Then what good suggestions do you have?" Blackscythe is too strong. We definitely won't allow combat to decide the regional representative. This round's quest has nothing to do with strength. Whoever clears the game first becomes this region's representative. What do you think, Priscilla? Blackscythe's regional representative was full of helplessness. It can only be this way. After a while, Priscilla announced, "We have discussed the new selection method for the regional representative. The player who completes the quest first will be the regional representative." Then, the sound of the game starting rang in everyone's ears. The game quest panel also appeared instantly. Everyone was in disbelief. Why are the main quests all hidden? Is there an error in the game? Hearing this, the angel stated that this was not an error, but that the 7th round was originally a hidden round. Everyone shouted, "If we don't know the quest information, how can we complete it? How you complete the quest is not a problem for me to consider. In any case, this round's information has been distributed. The game has begun." The next moment, the countdown had already started. Many players discussed among themselves. These angels really treat us like toys. They're getting more and more willful. Although everyone was dissatisfied, they could only search around. "Mr. Blackscythe, long time no see. Are you well?" Blackscythe looked at the group. "Why are you all gathered together?" And Xiangxia explained that they had just run into each other. "Mr. Blackscythe, do you know the specific content of this round's quest? Why are you asking me this question? I currently only know that this round is a riddle." "Mr. Blackscythe, I have information about the 7th round." Blackscythe asked somewhat coldly, "How would you know?" And Xiangxia didn't notice the change in Blackscythe's attitude and said he learned it from the prophet. Hearing this, Blackscythe's expression turned completely cold. In the last round, he had helped him keep it a secret. Blackscythe now understood that Xiangxia was not to be trusted. Only then did Xiangxia notice that Blackscythe's expression was a bit off. Blackscythe said, "So there really is a prophet?" And Xiangxia thought Blackscythe didn't believe him and hurriedly said that Sue Allen had also met this prophet. Blackscythe thought, "Another untrustworthy person. Tell me what the prophet said." "The prophet told me, in the 7th round, do not be tempted." Julie, at the side, was startled and thought, could the prophet in Xiangxia is talking about be Blackscythe? What does do not be tempted mean? Julie asked hurriedly. "Actually, I'm not sure what it specifically means either. He just told me those vague words." Blackscythe at the side sighed slightly. "Fortunately, none of them know that I am the prophet they speak of. I'm grateful for the game information you told me. The meaning of that sentence is still unclear. We should split up to gather information." and Xiangzhe was stunned. Are we splitting up this time? We don't know the game information. Splitting up is the best decision. Julie, at the side, spoke with some nervousness. Do I have to separate from you two? After getting an affirmative answer from Black Scythe, Julie responded with disappointment. Then, Julie walked towards the forest. Black Scythe shook his head helplessly. This round, he had to clear it as quickly as possible to get the rune. Just then, Julie's scream came from the forest. Black Scythe hurriedly ran towards the forest. He reached the edge of the forest in less than 10 seconds. But the scene before him left Black Scythe stunned in place. Bloodstains were all over the ground. Julie was slumped weakly under a tree, her abdomen viciously pierced. The man just summoned a basic class weapon, leaving everyone around him utterly shocked. This was because the owner of this weapon was the existence standing at the pinnacle of all players, Black Scythe. And the first thing Black Scythe did after summoning his weapon was to slay his former comrade in arms. It turned out Black Scythe found Julie had been ambushed and fell into a panic. How could something like this happen? Julie spoke in pain. Black Scythe, please help me. Black Scythe was stunned. You know I'm Black Scythe? You've been so good to me. I knew you were Black Scythe long ago. Besides, you're my first love. How can I not recognize you? Even though you try to hide yourself, I was pretending not to have discovered your identity all along. Black Scythe said, breaking down, who did this? At the same time, he used a healing spell to treat Julie. Luckily, I arrived in time. Any later, and she couldn't have been saved. Julie was very surprised. She didn't expect the healing to have such a significant effect. Rest for a bit. Tell me who ambushed you. Black Scythe, knowing the answer, showed a look of disbelief. Mr. Black Scythe, were you looking for me? I've been waiting for you here for a long time. You two bastards. How dare you betray me? Don't be so angry, Mr. Black Scythe. Or perhaps I should call you Mr. Prophet. I ambushed this woman to test you. Your actions in the last round already made me suspect your identity. It seems this woman is indeed very important to you. Julie cried and apologized for dragging him down. At this moment, Black Scythe's anger reached its peak. He stared deadly at Xiangzhe. Don't stare at me like that. When I confirmed that Black Scythe was the prophet, I was quite shocked inside. Was ambushing Julie just to test me? No other reason? She seems to have a very close relationship with you. I thought she had some use value. I never expected that the famous Black Scythe's weakness would be a weak support woman. And Xiangzhe, I will make you pay the price. He then summoned the scythe of the death god. And Xiangzhe hurriedly said, you'd best wait a moment. If you come any closer, I will detonate the bomb inside Julie's body. Black Scythe was shocked. You actually planted a skill bomb inside Julie's body? Of course, the one who helped me plant the bomb was him. Black Scythe was in complete disbelief. Why would I Wei betray me too? Mr. Black Scythe, I'm very sorry for hurting you. Why? Why did you all betray me together? I Wei can learn the Black Seed skill upon reaching level 40. The Black Seed can be planted anywhere and detonated at any time. When detonated, it will summon a demonic creature. Black Scythe's face was filled with despair. You actually planted the Black Seed inside Julie's body? You were my idol, the goal for me to become stronger. You admired me so much, so why did you betray me? I more than admired you. In my eyes, you were practically a god. But a god is omnipotent. A god is powerful without any constraints. Right now, you look so helpless. I have no reason to worship someone who is at a dead end. Black Scythe asked, what do you two want? I really didn't expect this woman to be so important to you. That's right. She's the love I rely on most in my heart. As long as you don't hurt her, I'll do anything. Hearing this, and Xiangzhe laughed smugly. What do you want? The location of the treasure or the information for the next round's match? I can tell you everything. I won't allow anyone to deceive Mr. Ma, nor will I permit anyone to try and control Mr. Ma. Leaving you alive is always a threat. In your own life now. Julie spoke, trembling, don't do it. Black Scythe calmly stated, if you'll let Julie go, I'm willing to end my life. Remember to keep your promise. He then picked up the scythe of the death god and slashed it across his neck. Julie, at the side, screamed her heart out, trying to stop Black Scythe. But the next moment, Black Scythe's body fell like a puppet with its strings cut. In his final moment, Black Scythe thought, as long as I can save Julie, I'm satisfied. I will never forget the faces of the traitors. System prompt, hidden side quest discovered. Following that was, completed hidden side quest, in your own life. Black Scythe has broken free from the illusion. Main quest, break free from the illusion within 2 hours. At this moment, Black Scythe hadn't yet come to his senses and was still standing there blankly. Julie being seriously injured, my teammate's betrayal. Was it all an illusion? After a moment, Black Scythe slowly came back to his senses. He remembered everything. The main quest of the 7th round was to break free from the illusion. But if I knew the quest content in advance, it would be very difficult to escape the illusion's control. So, before the 7th round began, I used the regional representative's authority to control myself. The command I issued to myself was that only after completing the 7th round side quest could I regain the erased memories. I even placed a stronger command on myself before entering the game. Protect Julie no matter the cost. Julie is the girl I love the most. For other players, it might have been just an illusion. But for me, with my memories erased, it was experiencing a real betrayal. Fortunately, I erased my memories in advance and set the command to love Julie the most. This is what made the illusion start the quest with Julie as the focal point. All of this went exactly as I had predicted. Just then, the sound of footsteps came from beside him. Mr. Black Scythe, have you also broken free from the illusion? Looks like you've broken free too. Sue Allen said it was very difficult to break free. Then Sue Allen mentioned that the others didn't seem to have broken free yet. She said shyly, Mr. Black Scythe, this might be a bit sudden. Ever since I first met you, I've liked you. Black Scythe showed no emotional fluctuation. Instead, he summoned the scythe of the death god. Seeing this, Sue Allen was shocked. Mr. Black Scythe, what are you doing? But before she could finish her sentence, he had cut her down. With a thud, Sue Allen fell to the ground. At this moment, Black Scythe muttered to himself, the illusion is still activating at inappropriate times. A prompt sounded. You have completed the main quest. The man had just completed the 7th round side quest. That leaving the angel beside him utterly shocked. This was because the 7th round side quest was actually a test of mental strength. But the man completed the quest in just half an hour. It turned out that when faced with the temptation of the illusion, Black Scythe had unhesitatingly killed his teammate. Black Scythe understood that this time, he had truly completed the quest. As soon as he thought that, a prompt appeared. Completed main quest. Escape the illusion. Sue Allen's body also vanished instantly. The returned Black Scythe looked to the people around him. He had finally left the illusion. The angel beside him was surprised. You're out so quickly? This stage is a mental test. Black Scythe is truly surprising. How could you complete the quest so quickly? Black Scythe said coldly, I have no reason to answer your question. Besides, since I'm the first to complete the quest, you should be very happy. Of course, you are our region's representative. You helped me win the bet. The next moment, a ray of light descended. A prompt appeared, waiting for the round's countdown to end to distribute rewards. 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining in the round. Watching the angel leave again, Black Scythe smiled. He had known the content of this round's quest all along. The quest would present all sorts of illusions. There was the temptation of treasure, and also illusions of escaping pain, and the temptation of the opposite sex that I just experienced. If one couldn't withstand the temptation, the quest will be declared a failure. The rankings are determined by the time it takes to break free from the illusion. A moment later, a man beside him woke up. After a short while, players woke up from the illusion one after another. The moment the time ended, the angel clapped and announced the round was over, and announced the quest content. Complete the escape, the illusion, and suicide tasks within 2 hours. The first in the overall region was still Black Scythe, and the first in this region was also taken by Black Scythe. Everyone was in disbelief. How is Black Scythe always able to get first place? This round's quest had nothing to do with strength. Julie was also surprised that Black Scythe was still first. Just as everyone was looking at Black Scythe with awe, he received a prompt. You have obtained first place in this region. You have received 1 random lottery ticket. You have received a special reward chest. At this moment, the surrounding angels began to whisper among themselves. Is Black Scythe's mental strength that strong? The next moment, the angel announced that players who did not complete the quest would be immediately eliminated. The players who failed the quest were eliminated amidst a golden glow. A prompt indicated that Black Scythe had become the regional representative. All rewards have been distributed. The identity of regional representative is very important to me. You can now finally change the regional representative's temporary skills in the real world. You have obtained the usage rights for the ruler. Black Scythe thought, as long as I have this ruler, I can completely control the PCW. Ma Tianlu, whose match had ended, woke up. Am I really awake? This shouldn't be an illusion, right? In the illusion, all his confidants wanted to kill him. I must expand the company's scale faster to make my father look at me in a new light. I don't want the illusion to become reality. At this time, Ma Tianlu was very curious. I didn't see the prophet's username on the leaderboard. The 7th round had nothing to do with strength. Logically, he should be on the leaderboard. Did he deliberately complete the quest more slowly? At this moment, Black Scythe looked at Julie in front of him. It was obvious that Julie hadn't recovered from the illusion yet. Julie, what happened in the 7th round that made you so dazed? Hearing this, Julie's face turned red and she whispered, nothing. Then she said, it's all in the past. I'm not dwelling on it anymore. Jeffrey, at the side, watched Black Scythe. He showed no suspicious movements. Julie, the reason I wanted to see you right after the round ended is to tell you information about the 8th round. Julie, you need to listen carefully now. In order to gain Christine's trust, I'm deliberately telling Julie this while Jeffrey is tracking me. A moment later, the PCW meeting was about to begin. The PCW chairman slumped weakly in his seat. It's booming. They're all buying. It's booming. They all. His heart was filled with unwillingness. Just a few minutes ago, his father had reprimanded him, saying that although Ma Tianlu was 3 years younger than him, his business acumen far surpassed his own. The PCW chairman was unwilling. It's just because he's a few years younger than me that he could become a player. If I could also become a player, I would definitely do even better than Ma Tianlu. To get my father's approval, I must launch the plan immediately. A moment later, the PCW members had gathered. Yami, the simulation training I had you conduct last time, 3 players passed, right? I plan to start that plan tomorrow. At this time, in Christine's home. Father, did you just say you want to keep the prophet? Although the 7th round went as he said, it could also be a coincidence. I had Jeffrey investigate him. He poses no threat to us. Moreover, your fiancée Ma Tianlu trusts him a lot. This basically confirms the prophet's identity. Just as the two were talking, a voice came from behind. Father, I'm back. I just obtained information about the 8th round's match from the prophet's side. Jeffrey, is what you're saying true? The prophet already knows the information for the 8th round? Hearing this, Christine pondered. She still believed they should wait until after the 8th round to judge whether the prophet was reliable. The prophet was very detailed this time. The difficulty of the 8th round depends on the choices the player makes. There's another important piece of information for the 8th round. Christine asked, puzzled, what important information? NPCs will appear in the 8th round. This is the first time they will appear in the 8th Angel round. It will be an extremely important turning point. We must pay attention to the NPCs.